Hello, good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir. We're doing fine.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good morning,
How
sir.
is your good morning? How is your reading?
Fine, fine.
Good.
Very well.
I'm sure you are doing it. Yeah, yeah. Please, I want a lot of, not even a lot. I want all of you to pass. Please do me that favor. Do you get?
We all pass.
Do me that
Amen.
favor of making sure.
By the grace of God, we will all pass this exam.
Yeah.
All pass by God's
I'll,
grace.
Pass.
I'll be very, very glad to, like, when I check the group and I'm seeing that, wow, I pass. I will be very, 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 very happy. I'll be more than happy to hear that. All right, so let's get into the business of today. So first, let's start from your report writing. Today's class
Sorry,
is going to,
sorry,
yeah,
please. I have one quick question before you start so that I won't forget.
yeah.
I've wrote it down and I've been waiting that when you come on, I will ask the question. Can I go on,
Okay,
please?
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
So, how do we treat lost on exchange for payment of materials for a project in a company contact?
It's unrealized, so it's disallowed.
Is disallowed. Okay, thank you very much. It is
You're welcome.
all right.
It
Thank you.
is unrealized. So it is only loss on exchange loss on balances and remittances that is realized. So that will be allowable.
Okay,
But any unrealized exchange loss is disallowed.
thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. I want to send.
That baby will read accountancy.
So he has no choice, to be honest. I don't. I,
That baby will read accountancy in the university. He's already
Really?
counting figures.
No.
Hello, sorry. Please, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, um for under PIA,
Yeah.
after calculating the um all the allowable expenses, I saw that in the questions that I've been doing, after solving it, you don't normally deduct it from the gross income. You deduct the net expenses, I mean net costs, subject to CPR. I don't know what
Yeah,
the
that's net
uh,
eligible expenses.
yes, I don't know what the reason is.
Yeah,
Can you hear
so
me?
I didn't get your question.
Is that what?
I didn't get your question. Please go ahead.
I said like I don't know what the reason is for instead of that deducting allowable expenses, you deducted net cost subject to CPR.
Okay. Do you know how we compute CPR?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I think my problem is half solved. So the idea there is that for your expenses really. So what is happening is that your CPR, are you with me? Your CPR is going to be the lower of 65% of revenue, and your liable expenses less from designated expenses basically. So now what you are doing is you are selecting the lower of the actual expenses and the CPR. And most of the time your your net eligible expenses, which is your CPR, will definitely be lower. Because even in reality, remember that your expenses, you are deducting a lot of things from it, right? So that is why we always pick, because the rule says you should pick the less of the allowable expenses and the CPR. And if you do your CPR correctly on all location, your CPR must or should be lower than the allowable expenses. Mudupe, does that answer your question?
Okay, yes, but before I used to like just deduct it, continue. Then after I get the CPR, I will now do gross revenue minus that CPR and choose the higher. I think the higher of them.
No, in fact,
I start now.
your process does not seem very clear to me. But either way, your process is wrong.
Okay, okay,
So
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So Benjamin,
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, sir.
yeah, good morning,
Please,
Chief.
I just want to confirm something. When computing this CPR, I
Yeah,
noticed some persons, I don't know. So I noticed one book like that. What they did was, after bringing the total allowable expense, then they will now add production cost to it. Then those other expenses they will deduct from it. That's those fund something. They will come back again and still deduct production cost again. But I noticed in the one we did, it's like we did not do it that route. So I don't know.
okay.
I
So
don't know which one is actually right.
both of them will give you the same answer. Plus minus, we give you zero now.
Okay, okay, okay.
Do
But
you
which one is
understand?
the recommended one to use in the exams?
Me, I don't like confusion in my
Because
life.
I wouldn't know if that one would attract
No, it
maybe
doesn't
half
attract
mark. You know,
anything.
half mark is not something one would joke with in ICANN like this. It can make person get 50.
No, it's not that serious. It doesn't attract any tangible mark. But again, your plus and minus will give you equal to zero. So I just think it's something you can just do without. Because if you have stepmother like myself and you add it and forget to deduct it, there's a negative home support there. You lose more than the half mark you want to get.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah. So that's just it.
All right.
Yeah, Chidera.
Okay, good morning, sir. Good
Yeah,
morning, everyone.
yeah, good morning.
Please, sir, I just wanted clarity on this business period
Can you
because
please be more audible? I'm
okay,
struggling to
can you
hear
hear
you.
me? Can you hear
Yes,
me
I can
now?
hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted clarity on this business period, especially for pioneer companies. So I understand that because I asked you yesterday and you said yes that companies with financial year starting 2020 due to the Finance Act 2019, they are the ones that have the commencement rule, that use the new commencement rule. But if the production day for a pioneer company is 1st April 2016, so the new business will start inadvertently 1st April 2019. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case, do we now use the old rule or just do per preceding year basis and having 2020 year of assessment? So that would be 1st April to 31st March 2020. Or do we now do 1st April to 31st December 2019 first? So I'm just really, because the park is not really
So
flowing
okay,
with. So I'm just.
okay. So let's start from one thing. We all agree that your commencement rule begins. I mean, the new rule begins from 2020 because it
Yes,
was introduced by Finance Act 2019.
yes, yes,
So let us come to another fact that laws do not have retrospective application.
yes.
So if laws do not have retrospective application, you can't apply 2020 law in 2019.
Hmm. Yes,
Does it make sense?
yes, yes, it
Yeah.
does.
All
So,
right.
sir, just sorry. So,
I
just
know, I
before
know, I
I
know the box. I know the box you want to put me to. I know the question you're talking about. The
no,
box
so
you want to
before
put me to is to say that the question is wrong or what they did is wrong. But again,
yeah,
I'm a member of the institute. I can't tell you my institute is wrong.
okay,
But
no, sir, but
again,
in the exam,
eh?
what should I do? Should I follow them or follow the
No,
law?
follow who know road now. Either person, anybody who know road, just follow the person.
Ah, it's, I don't know.
Just follow Uno Road. So that's just that's just it. You get. But I hope you are clear now.
Yes, I'm clear. It's just that right
Yeah.
now, if you say follow on your road, is it you or
So
I
do
can?
the, no, even I'm sure it was a mistake. I'm sure it was a mistake. I'm very
Okay,
sure it was a mistake. I'm very sure it was a mistake.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
So
sir, I want to. Hello, sir.
yeah.
Okay, good morning. So I want to say something to better understand what she just said. So in that case now, when we are given a pioneer question that's dated before the Finance Act, so we should use the old rule. Old rule
Yes.
is applicable. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Juliet.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Chief.
Thank you. Please, under hydrocarbon, condensate gas liquid, is it allowable?
What?
Under hydrocarbon,
Yes.
condensate gas liquid, is it allowable?
That should be an income now.
But it's under expense.
It's allowable then, but that should be an
Sorry,
income.
condensate and gas liquid, I mean. Condensate and gas liquid.
That sounds more like a revenue.
But then
But
they
if
list
it
it
is
under
That's
expense.
leakage.
okay, but if it is expensive, it's allowable.
Okay.
But condensate and gas liquid sounds more like a
Sir,
revenue.
it's like a normal loss.
Huh?
Yes, the normal loss is the
Oh,
normal loss. It is the gas flare fee that is disallowed.
yes.
Gas flare fee is disallowed, but that one
That
is
is like fine and penalty.
yeah.
Okay. Also, royalties under expense for import and export, they are allowed, right?
It is allowed. Royalty, both local and local and foreign. Anything how they put the royalty is allowable.
They are allowed. Okay.
Hmm.
Salaries and personnel emoluments.
Disallowed.
Which one? Eh?
Disallowed.
That's okay, not allowed. Okay,
Yeah.
not allowed. And lecture.
Sorry,
Okay.
please, sorry. But the other one you treated where you said salary and wages was allowed.
We
So
should
is it
allowed.
because
Salaries and
what
wages allowed. Salaries and personnel emoluments
It's
disallowed.
allowed. Yeah,
okay, so
they're
because it
allowed.
is an emolument, that's why it is disallowed.
Exactly. So now again, the wages there shows us that it can be linked to production,
Okay.
Yeah.
but the personnel emolument sounds more administrative, and all
Oh,
administrative cost is
Okay.
disallowed.
all right. All right.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Okay, so for the salary, please, I'm not done yet, please. You only cut in,
Okay.
please.
But again, if your
So,
salaries and wages is classified as admin expenses in the question, disallow it.
eh? You
If your
said?
salaries and wages is classified as admin expenses already in the question, you can as well just disallow it.
Okay,
Okay.
if it is under admin expenses,
Yeah, you
but
can as well just disallow it.
if it is under the listed expenses, we can allow.
Then, yeah,
Okay. Okay, then that one aside. Please, I also want to clarify under capital allowance.
yeah.
Okay. You see, from what's it called? I'm coming, I'm trying to. Okay, from some notes. I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. In some notes, if they want to compute capital allowance, for example, the basis period is May to August. The commencement, please, the commencement is May, then the accounting year end is August 2021 year of assessment. So in some notes, to do the annual allowance, they will say, from May to August is 4. So they'll just compute it as 4/4. I'm so like I'm not so I don't understand. I'm so confused. In that kind of scenario, please, how do we compute for annual allowance? That's
4
scenario.
over 4.
Yes.
How many months make a year?
So
So that tells you that the 4 over 4 is wrong now.
okay, so 2021, that's 4 over 12. Okay, what if there is additions during the year in
So you
June?
ignore you ignore. So we don't consider when the asset is purchased. We consider how many months is in the basis period.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah. So if there is additions during the year in June, so that would be 3 over 12.
No, we don't consider when the asset is purchased. We consider how many months are in the basis period in the year. Does it make sense to you?
Consider I'm coming, I'm jotting down.
So we don't consider when you purchase the asset. It's none of our business when you purchase the asset. Our major issue is how many months we have in the basis period. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, not enough.
All right.
So now to get it clearer now. So if I'm computing for capital allowance and
Yeah,
was May to August,
it's 4
that's
months.
the investment, the 4 months. It's going to be 4 over 12 times whatever.
That's if the basis period is 4 months. Not if you purchase the asset in March.
Yes, the commencement is May.
Okay, correct. Go ahead.
Counting year end is August.
Yeah, correct. Go ahead.
Then it is 4 over 12. So
Yeah,
if there is an addition in that same commencement in June, will it
it's still
still
same for over 12. It's still same for over 12.
okay, additions in June 4 over 12? Okay. So what if the basis period is May to April?
That's 12 months period.
Yes.
So you don't need to prorate then because 12 over 12 is 12 is 1.
Yeah. And
So you
there's
don't need to prorate it that way.
acquisition of furnitures and fittings in June. It is still 12
It
over.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you purchase the furniture, right? It doesn't matter when you purchase the furniture. Again, your annual allowance is not prorated down to number of today. It's not prorated according to when you purchase the asset. It is prorated down to number of months in the basis period. So when the basis period is already 12 months, you have no reason to prorate your annual allowance, irrespective of when you purchase the asset.
Irrespective of when the asset is purchased. Okay.
Yeah,
Consider.
makes sense. Abi?
And let's still continue. If I'm not clear, I'll ask back again.
Okay, Victoria, Kemi.
Thank you. I'm not spoken now.
Okay. No, not you now. Let's go ahead.
Sorry. So I just want to clarify for hydrocarbon tax. I noticed you said that in repairs and maintenance, if we don't have additional information as to maybe their capital nature, this construction expansion, we are supposed to allow them, right?
Yeah.
But if we have, for instance, if they say repairs and maintenance, then they now added something like construction, we should take out that portion.
It's allowed. It's capital in nature.
Okay. But for capital
Yeah.
assets or whatever, they are disallowable expenses, so they should be added back for CIT purpose.
Yeah. So they should be added that back to the composition of capital allowance, provided a qualifying asset for CIT purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then sorry again,
Yeah,
I just want to confirm. I've not finished watching the third class video, but is that where pioneer status was treated?
The third class, I think it's the second class. My first was CIT, second pioneer, third PIA. That's what I think. That's what I think, but I'm not. No. Once I'm done with the class, I don't really know the sequence again.
All right, I'll check.
That is the sequence, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Good morning,
Okay.
Michael.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. It's my turn. Okay, under hydrocarbon, is subscription to oil and gas association allowed?
What do you want?
Under hydrocarbon tax, is subscription to oil and gas association allowed?
Yes, it should be allowed.
Okay, if that should be the case, there is a question. May 2024, new reign. It was disallowed there.
So I will check. I will check the reason. If it is so, wait. Let's check it together. Subscription together association. That sounds association. That sounds okay. Sorry, let me check.
If it is under donation, do we allow?
Donation. No, donation is disallowed.
Okay.
I
If that
thought that
subscription
all
to oil and gas is under
donation-
donation is disallowed, right?
All donation is disallowed. All donation is disallowed. Is that the reason?
I don't know.
It should be. I
No,
thought all
Mr.
donation and
Michael,
subscriptions
are you
disallowed.
still answering me?
Yes, yes. Donations is disallowed, basically. So if it's classified as donations, because they sound more like admin expenses, all the same. So it's disallowed.
But it's a subscription to oil and gas
It's
association.
disallowed. It's disallowed. If it is
Disallowed.
admin in nature, right, it's disallowed. All forms of donation is disallowed
I'm confused.
under under hydrocarbon, but may be allowed depending on if it meets the criteria under CIT.
Because I'm looking at this one is related to oil
So
and gas, and we're using hydrocarbon.
but there are many expenses that are related, right? But they are still disallowed. For instance, you have your salaries and personal emoluments. You can trace it to the business. So it's not that there. In fact, anything that has to do with bank charges is related to the business. Is reasonable enough, but then it's still going to be disallowed all the same. So I don't think that will work for hydrocarbon tax. But any form of admin expenses is disallowed, right? And any form of donation is disallowed. Do you understand?
I'm still trying to look at it because this one is subscription. It's not donation, but it is under donation and subscription.
It's disallowed. It's disallowed.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank you.
the idea there is that the rule, right? If you check the note I sent, there are some things that you would have argued that they should be allowed, basically. For instance, your specific provision for bad debt, things like that. But then it is disallowed under PI.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Samuel.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Please, I want to take you back a little to the question someone asked on commencement rule.
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. For the second year of assessment, which is going to be 2020, will it be without a basis period?
Will it be what?
Will it be without a basis period?
Without the basis period. So,
yes,
if you do it properly, it should be without the basis period. Because they're really saying there should be no gap or overlapping in the basis period, right? So if you do that properly, there will be overlapping in the basis period because you will still be repeating 2019. So if you do it properly, it should be without the basis period.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, Fola Shadi.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, good morning.
I think I've answered this question before, but I'm still a little bit confused. And I'll try to make another school of
To be honest,
thought.
I can't hear you very clearly. Oh.
Can you hear me now, please?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
Please go ahead.
So I said I've asked this question before, but I'm still not clear because of what was done in the past in the Pathfinder and what you said, and I also actually get another school of thought, and all these are not the same. So it's about the loss in the pioneer period. So
Okay.
you said loss in the pioneer period can only be carried just for a year, just for, a
On
year
the
into
post-pioneer period.
the post year. But in the Pathfinder, they carried for 2 years. And I was like, you said, no, that's not the way they're supposed to have done it. Maybe there's a mistake. I also asked another person. The person was telling me it can be carried to, that the loss can be carried forever, to infinity.
So losses naturally are carried forward indefinitely. Losses, all losses, right, are carried forward indefinitely for all businesses. But for pioneer period, the net loss is now quote the word I used, the net loss, meaning that if you make accumulated profits in the pioneer period,
There we go.
the accumulated profit is ignored. But
That
what I know is that the net
what did
loss
you
you
say?
make in the pioneer period can be relieved only in the first year of the post-pioneer period.
You know if you do am. Wetin dey do am? No, no, you know the thing they talk here now. I don't know what you know if you do am.
If I
Mr.
mute your mind.
Mehmet, please, you can mute us. Please mute everybody except
Please
anybody
go ahead.
that is talking.
No, he has left. He has left. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So uh let's up to 8:15, right? So I will start what I intend to do by 8:15. Right. Osazua. Victor. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning,
Yes,
sir.
first up, please, the video for day before yesterday, we have not gotten it. That's number one. Then also for PIE, oil and gas, are we seeing those disallowable items as indirect costs? Because I heard when someone was talking about salary, there are some questions you will see salary, there are some questions you see salary and wages. So this thing, one is allowed, one is disallowed. So can you throw more light on it? Because like some of these indirect costs are majorly disallowed. You know, like that of the payment of Association of Petroleum or whatever is disallowed. But for me, I think is also that cost is an indirect cost. So I don't know if you can throw more light on it.
When you say indirect cost, that even makes me a little bit confused, because even the subscription does not sound as indirect cost. Does not sound like an indirect cost to me, because I would believe that your indirect costs are
Subscription is an
covered
indirect.
indirect. Okay, wait, let me get your context. Indirect cost in that is not directly related to production, or indirect cost in that
Yes, you
is
can't.
not directly related to the company. I can't trace it to revenue. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
it's not.
saying?
It's like in oil and gas, there are direct costs that, for instance, maybe when you are doing drilling, you know, when you are doing drilling, there are some costs that you can that can be traceable to the production of the oil. So there are costs that are not traceable. Some of the costs are administrative, but they are also part of the drilling cost. You see it as a direct cost in the process of drilling. So some of all these costs, this is what I think they are looking at when you see some costs. Maybe for instance, you see traveling traveling expenses. Some of those traveling expenses, there's another way. It was a question I saw that there's traveling and so it's like when you have that traveling and maybe related to something else or transportation cost or something like that. So I'm sure some of those costs are transportation costs can be the direct cost because you have to move workers to the rig. So
Yeah.
since I can see that one as direct cost, but when you say traveling may not be a direct cost because you are expected that within that location, in the location where you are doing your production, you have your base stations where all the workers will be. except maybe you are bringing an expatriate, which you also
Mhm.
put it as, which such cost maybe probably could be explained or analyzed further. So that is what I am trying to say. Okay, maybe you may have understanding to give us a more light on it, because that was what I said is a direct cost, because as you are doing the job, those costs are direct costs. There are some direct costs that are administrative.
There's some direct costs that are administrative. What I know is that your what I know principally is that your admin expenses is principally disallowed. But then I think what they are trying to do is that because of the cost intensity of the oil and gas generally, so they're trying to bring a lot of costs, right, that may not be directly traced to production of crude, right? Then they are trying to disallow it. So I think your analysis will work that way, to saying direct costs are disallowed. But then I don't want to bring you to that bucket to saying direct costs is disallowed, because you may still have a few of them that will be allowed, basically. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
But basically, majority of, let's say, chunk of the indirect costs are disallowed.
Yes, that
Chunk of
works.
it, because royalty, you can say, yes. Thank you, sir.
Royalty is
But
allowed.
for the video, we have
And
not seen it.
royalty is allowed, but you know, your royalty does not increase. I mean, your royalty is allowed, basically. So your, what's the name now? Your renters, concession renters, and all of that, they are still allowed. So I don't want to bring you. I don't want to bring you to that bucket to say all indirect costs are disallowed. I don't think it's a fair way of explaining.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. Adisa. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, so I want to ask for items exempted from CPR. Is rent part of it?
Yeah, concession renters is part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but
Ordinary
Tawakali.
renter, sir.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, concession renters is part of it.
Is allowed, right? Is allowed.
Yes, it's allowed, but it's still
Yeah.
part of the expenses that will be deducted from your CPR.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Basirat. Aishat. Benjamin.
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good morning, sir. Once again.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, sir. My question is, in a situation whereby the basis period when computing for this post-pioneer period, there seems to be like overlap, and then the second basis period is taken away because of the overlap. How do we treat annual allowance that falls under category? You explained it actually, but I've forgotten honestly.
So if there's no basis period, it's as good as saying nothing happened during that period. So you jump to the next year.
Okay. So no annual allowance at all for that asset that year.
Yeah, no allowance. So that year is assumed not to be existing. So say for instance you do 2019, then jump to 2021. That's what happens. Because don't forget, your basis period is what determines how much you are paying as tax liabilities, what forms the basis for tax computation and all of those things. So if you don't have a basis period, it's as good as nothing happened that year, and then you can move on.
Okay, but what if there's an investment allowance that falls under that year? Is it going to be ignored as well too?
So again, if there's no basis period, there's no basis for allocating QCE.
Okay.
So if you don't allocate QCE to that year, you won't have any reason to have investment allowance for that same year.
That one too is forfeited as well.
Not forfeited. So you will go to the next year, which I believe when you allocate it properly, it will be taken care of in the next year. So don't forget that the basis period forms the basis for the what's the name now? Forms the basis for allocating QCE. Invariably, if you don't have basis period, you can't allocate. And because there must be no gap, right? Because there must be no gap in the basis period. Obviously, your QC will be allocated to when it falls in the subsequent year, and then you take care of it. So you're not forfeiting anything that way. Is it clear enough?
Partially, my concern is on that investment allowance. Is it that it's going to be claimed the following year, or since it was
It's not
not
safe.
computed that year?
It's not safe to say the following year,
Okay, okay.
because your QC automatically is allocated based on the basis period of capital allowances. Does it make sense? You allocate your QC based on the basis period for capital allowance, meaning that since what you are trying to avoid is gap overlapping in the basis period, your basis period for capital allowance, there will be no gap there. So any asset that does not fall into the first year will ultimately fall into the second year. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. That's for assets that can claim annual allowance. Definitely, we can work out annual
No,
allowance for them
even
in the
for
next
all
year.
allowances, your all allowances is still on the basis period, because it is after you allocate QC that's where you can compute your allowances properly. The first step to compute capital allowance is to allocate QC, and you allocate QC based on the basis period for capital allowance. And if there's no gap and you compute it properly, your QC will always fall in one period or the other in the basis period. So that way you're not forfeiting anything.
My concern is that investment allowance, which is charged just once in the life of the assets. I just want to
You're
be
not getting my explanation. Let me show you something. You're not getting my explanation.
okay.
I'm saying you still not have any reason to lost anything. More stepmother to take over.
Stepmother likes you.
Okay.
My question, you called me earlier.
Okay.
Can I go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
it's still on Benjamin's questions. I just want to buttress something over there. So, if we're having an overlap, or will I say it's an overlap? Okay, let me just say as in a case whereby the Old Finance Act and the New Finance Act coincides together. So, and for a particular year, there is no basis period. So in that case, is it that we are not going to have a tax liability for that? But there was a question I saw, and there was someone that solved it. The preceding year, this basis period, and the profit for that preceding year was taxed again in the subsequent year. So I don't understand the judgment of that at all.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Benjamin, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So say just pick any date of your choice between 2019 and 2020. And assume that an asset is purchased.
Let's say 2020.
What? Just pick a date.
Okay, you mean like a basis period?
No, a date. Like just pick a day. A date.
3rd of April 2020.
So 3rd
Okay.
April 2020. You see this here? So this 3rd April 2020, let's say you purchase plant and equipment. Your fear is because you did not compute for 2020 year of assessment, yeah, you will lose investment allowance here. But don't forget that your basis point for capital allowance is what determines how to allocate your QC. And the rule is that there must be no gap or overlapping in the basis period. So this 3rd April 2020, you will see that it automatically falls in the 3rd year. Benjamin, did you get that?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So since it falls in the 3rd year, you claim everything you want to claim in the 3rd year, so that way you don't lose anything.
Okay.
Do you understand my point
Okay.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think the person asking question was Aisha Abi. Can you please repeat your question?
So my question is that for a year or for a particular basis period whereby the old Finance Act and the new Finance Act coincides together, and there is no basis period for a particular year, let's say year 2020, since it was year 2020 that the new Finance Act was enacted and the rules started ruling. So in that aspect, what are we going to do? Is it that the tax liability or the total profit for the preceding year will be taxed in year 2020 since we don't have basis period? Is it going to be taxed to charge, taxed twice? Because there was a question and there was the way someone stopped it. The
Okay.
tax liability was taxed twice. So I don't understand.
Again, let's look for the reason. Let's look at the reason for the Finance Act. The reason for Finance Act naturally was because they think that it's not fair to be assessing the same profit to tax multiple times. Number two is that your profit is determined by, your total profit is allocated based on the basis period. Or better put, your assessable profit is determined based on the basis period. Invariably, if you do your basis period very well, if your profit does not fall in 2019, it will still fall in 2021. No basis period simply means there's no time, and your assessable profit must fall into a period, right? There must be a period that you earn your money. So if you don't have a period that you earn money and you do it properly, it will fall into the next year automatically. And so you then determine your profit based on the next year. This is what I'm saying here. I think I did something similar in one question like that. You realize that this is a 2019 question. I did 2019. I said the basis period was 1/1/2019 to 31st December 2019. Then I jumped straight to 2021 because there's no basis period in 2020. And if there's no basis period in 2020, it means that there's no period where you earned money. And we shouldn't tax you when you've not earned money. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Sorry, Mr. Mike. Sorry, why is it that there is no basis period in 2020?
Because there was overlap. And the Finance Act is saying there must be no gap overlapping in the basis period.
Yeah, but in a case whereby the old Finance Act, there is an overlap there, so we can still charge them
Yeah.
the
Obviously, that's the absurdity of the old rule, really. Because
right.
you will realize that you will use the same thing 1, 2, 3, the same profit 1, 2, 3. Do you get? If you do your
Okay,
basis
why
very
can't we
well,
repeat 2019? Why can't we repeat 2019?
there must be no gap overlapping in the basis period. If you repeat 2019, there's an overlap already, so you flouted the rule.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay, would it be safe to say that for 2020 that the new Finance Act commenced is always on preceding year basis in a short spot?
obviously, your 2020 must always be on preceding year basis. It must always be. Because Finance Act is saying that all businesses must be assessed to tax on preceding year basis.
Yeah, I think this is simple enough, sir. Thank you.
What do you say?
Yeah, this is simple enough. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Please, I beg you, sleep is one of the things I want to say. You have to think in the exam. Oh. Please don't block your brain before the exam. Oh. I beg you.
So if we try to sleep, the sleep will not even come at all again. The pressure is just too much. Especially
But
those
please,
of us writing 5 papers.
but please, I beg you, try to rest. Because what I've realized in the exam is that your ability to think goes a long way in the exam itself. So you don't want to stress your brain beyond what you've read. You must still be able to think. Do you understand? So, and I'm not sure. I do. We are different, right? I'm not sure I will be able to think very well if I don't sleep well. Do you get? So, in as much as I want to believe you have to discipline yourself but please make out time to rest well, so that at least rest very, because if you notice, your ability to think goes a long way in the exam. The exam is not designed in such a way that you can cram and pour. Do you understand? It's
Yes,
not
sir.
a way it's not designed that way. If it was the school exam, if it was my undergraduate exam, I will not sleep because I just want to cram it, pour it, and forget it immediately. But this exam is designed especially for courses like your audit, even some tax questions. They are designed. You, in fact, you realize that if you're able to think very well, especially for your theory part, there are things you can conjure words together in the exam and it still make some sense. But if you've pressured yourself and you don't rest well, and your thought process is now being affected, right? What will happen there is that there will be a block in the thoughts process. And once there's a block, you won't be able to deliver at your best. And the funny thing about this course is, even if you know the theory very well, I think you are contained in a way, because they try to balance the thing together so that the theory does, the computations does not outweigh the discussion part, and they also try to make sure the discussion does not outweigh the computation part, right? So I want to believe you need time to rest. That's the long and short of my story. You need time to rest. Make sure. Number two rule is that make sure you write something. Make sure you write something, and that still goes back to your thought process anyway. Especially for your theory, I've always advised that you write in your own words. Are you with me, please?
Hello,
Yes,
Michael.
yes.
Are you with me, please?
Hello,
Yeah.
Michael. Good.
Somebody was calling my attention. Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, I muted everybody because of the side noise, but let me just allow it. So you're calling my attention to something. Please, who is that? Okay.
We are with you.
Please, who is that person? Okay, let's move on. So I was saying that because that's what I want to discuss with you, right? So again, try to write in your exam. If it is 3 marks, try to justify reasons why you are worthy of the 3 marks they want to give you for that theory, right? Try to justify it. Does it make sense? Try as much as possible to make sure you justify the marks that you need for that thing. So if they tell you something, just cook, right? Cook, I beg, cook.
Don't make noise. Don't make noise. It's affecting me.
So please cook for the examiner. Does it make sense to you? Please cook as much as you can. Let the examiner sort it. Just make sure the examiner don't know what you have in your mind. They only know what you write down. Like the markers don't know what you have on your mind. They only know what you write down. I told you my story before. There was an exam I'm sure I wrote, but I was just writing. Right? I was just writing. And at the end of the day, out of nonsense, there's still sense. At least there's a sense behind nonsense. So it may not make sense to you writing it, right? But then, I mean, a very benevolent examiner will find a reason to pick points from what you are saying. Of course, if it's something you don't know at all, then it becomes a problem. Do you understand? But at least if it's something you've heard somewhere, you know somewhere, you've read about somewhere, but issues, uh, you have issues just bringing your thoughts together, then just write it any way it comes. Do you understand? I hope that clarifies. Another thing I want to tell you, which is going to take me to what I intend to do today, is that please and please, when the examiner asks you to write a report, please write your report. When the examiner asks you to write a report, please write your report. So my intention today is just to show you how to write the report. That's my intention today. And report will always work for same format for everything. Report will work for same format for everything. So for instance, right, if the examiner, if you check through your past question, the examiner structures it in this way. You are the tax consultant for ABC Limited, for instance, right? And you are required to advise on one, the capital gain tax, B, the due. I'm just forming this on my head though. The due date for filing, explain, still in the surface of the report, explain the idea of or the concept of partial disposal. Let's say I have a requirement like this, right? And I'm asked to write a report. What the examiner is saying is that my report should contain these three details together. Do you understand? So because the examiner said I'm a consultant, you are a consultant, and obviously anyway, and then you are asked to write a report to ABC Limited, to you're a consultant to write a report to the managing director or to the board of directors of ABC Limited. This way, it is an external communication. So again, this is where creativity comes in. So if the examiner does not tell you the name of the firm you are working with, which I believe the examiner will not tell you, right? But the examiner does not tell you the name of the firm you are working with, then if the examiner does not believe this, Mr. Gideon is affecting my approach. Okay, again, if the examiner does not give you the name of the firm you are working with, this way you can just write ABC and Co, or just say Gbemidebe. It's just me coming up with a name. So just be creative, right? Think of any name. I remember when I was writing my own exam, the name I used typically use for my own report was Mikelolu and Co. So anything will work that way. Then I will tell them chartered accountant and as consultant. 24 Miolomo Street. Final Diet bus stop. Finance Diet bus stop, Lagos, Nigeria. Then right. So that way you've come up with a letterhead that way. All right. Then you say the date. What's the date? 17th May 2025. The board of directors, ABC Limited, near Ibadan, Lagos. Their share tax advisory on capital gain tax and other matters around the engagement. Right? So with this, if you're able to do this, you've gotten about I think they allocate 1 mark or 2 to all of this structure. But again, it's not something you want to joke with. So then you just say, you don't have to write the same thing I'm saying, sequel to the engagement, capital gain tax, computation, the plant and machinery, and just come with, these are fictitious stuff, but based on your question, the question will guide you. And land and building, on the disposal right, we write to explain the outcome of our computation and discuss some matters relating to the subject. All right, so you come, you give them the first one. The examiner told you to explain the capital gain tax. So you say the disposal is kiniko, and the total cost of acquisition allowable for capital gain tax purposes is XYZ amount, right? Resulting to a capital gain of 4.25 million and capital gain tax of 425,000. Then the building sales proceeds of 110 and a total allowable expenses of 76,500, resulting to a capital gain of 33.5 million and a capital gain tax of 3.35 million. Therefore, the company is advised to prepare a check in favor of the Federal Inland Revenue Service in the case of transaction with corporate, right? Federal Revenue Service of this XYZ amount, right? When you write the amount, that means you're adding the two together. Full stop. So in order to take advantage of XYZ amount of reducing the capital gain tax exposure, the company can invest in similar class of assets, right? The company can invest in similar class of assets, provided it's within the class. You mention the class and then you move on. With that, you've explained. Following the Finance Act 2021, the due date for filing is June and December of every year, right? Therefore, the asset is, since the disposal of the asset took place in February, the due date shall be the due date shall be 30th June of XYZ amount. So with that, you've covered point 1 and point 2. So the point 3, they tell you, mention this, explain partial disposal. You give them the explanation of partial disposal in the report. You give them the explanation of partial disposal in the report. Then tell them A over A plus B times C. Just give them where A is this, where B is this, where C is this, right? A being the sales proceeds of the asset disposed, B being the market value of the undisposed asset, C being the total cost of acquisition of the asset. Safini, if you mention that, you are worthy of the mark, you are worthy of your reward that way. So if you mention that, you now say, okay, given that, should you need any further clarification, kindly revert to the undersigned. Yours faithfully, XYZ. But please, I would advise you not to write your name. Come up with a fictitious name. Just tell them, Miolomo, Bemidebe, Ebin Pami, things like that. Just come up with a name and then sign off. And then with that, you are good. Is it clear, please? Is it clear that way? Okay. So that is that about the, so this report is, the format is constant for everybody, be it capital gain tax, be it pioneer. You're not doing anything special in report writing other than the fact that you're putting a structure to your thoughts, right? You are not doing anything. There's nothing special other than the fact that you're just putting it in a letterhead. You would have answered it the same way you would have done it as if it were to be independent questions, right? So you are not doing anything so special again. Yeah, the only thing you are doing is just the structure of the report. So now the other way the examiner can tell you is you are a graduate trainee, although you can tell them you're a child of God. A child of God cannot lie. I'm a senior manager in my organization already. But again, you have a full mark because you are practicing integrity. Abi. But say for instance, you are a graduate trainee and you're expected to write to your manager. So the whole structure changes. You're writing a memo, right? So you're writing a memo this time. So still same thing, but you say from yes, sorry. So and then you say then ref. Then that's just the difference. So from training, tax, advisory to senior manager, tax advisory. So you come and say EBY, BY, XYZ, ZXY, 2236, and then subject. Right, so same thing, right? So with that, you're done. That's just the difference. Same thoughts, same thing, but again, your tone will just be different here. Remember that you're writing for his review, so you can just say see below for your review and all of that. And another thing I think I should note for you is that when you are writing here, especially when it has to do with figure, so you just say see appendix 1, meaning that your computation is in appendix 1. So don't do your solution before your report. So your structure is 1 report, 2 computation. Somebody told me now, go to your room. 3 is then the workings to the computation. This is how you're expected to write, or this is how you're expected to do your exam. Basically, your report comes first, the computation comes next, then the workings to the computation come next. So at this point, let me accommodate your questions. You can just put your date somewhere. Yeah. 17th May 2024. Yeah. So that's it. So I hope I've made myself a little clear. All right. So let me accommodate your question.
Can please show your screen again, please?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
So let's accommodate a few questions. Although I would have loved that your questions would be around your this thing, around this report, but then it is what it is. I'm not sure I can be able to, because everybody left their hands up. All right, Fola Shadi. Okay, Basirat.
Yeah, good
Okay,
morning. Thank you very much, sir.
Geoffrey. Okay, you are clear already, Abby?
Good morning. Thank you. My question is not on this report writing, but earlier question. So there was a point where you were answering the hydrocarbon tax as regards salary and emoluments, and you gave us that donations entirely, be it that it is the 15%, it must not be above 15% or 10% of the assessable profit or whatever condition. Donations entirely are disallowed under hydrocarbon. And you said all administrative expenses are disallowed. But in the case where the question gave us just salary, what are we to do?
To be honest, this Gideon, sorry, is Gideon now on the call? Sorry about that. Can you please rephrase the? Can you please come again with the last? Can you say that again? Sorry.
You said all administrative expenses and donations, regardless of if it meets the requirement or not, are disallowed for hydrocarbon. So I'm saying if we are given just salary, I know you said salary and wages are allowed, but if we are given just salaries, do we just say it is part of administrative, or we are going to
Yeah,
allow it?
admin. That's admin. That's disallowed.
So for us to allow any salary, it must be salaries and wages.
Yes, I think that's safe to say.
What is it?
All right, Alexander.
Geoffrey.
Okay, Geoffrey, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, this is Alexander on the line. I don't know if my background is noisy. I don't know if you can hear me
Yeah,
clearly,
go ahead. I
sir.
can hear you.
Okay, basically, on CIT, I just saw you said we should not debate our question from this reporting, but I have to just quickly ask this one because my hand has been
No
up
problem.
since. Okay,
No problem. No
okay.
problem.
Yeah, basically on that allowable expenses that you deduct from your accessible profit when it comes to CIT, I was
No,
so
that's not the structure. That's not the structure. You deduct your allowable expenses from your revenue to get accessible profit.
yes. I'm talking about but sorry, when it comes to donation rather. So on donation, I saw on the disallowable expense that they allowed relief to state flood victim. So when it gets to the where you deduct it as a non, before you get your the one you do 10/1 over the accessible profit. So when they did that one, they got a higher figure, and they now chose the one that is less. When you deduct it, when you do the 10/110 with the accessible profit, they got 5,000 something. But on what they put on the salariable expense, it was 49. So they chose the 49 over the one that will be 10/110. I don't know if you understand my question. So I'm just thinking, is it the lower off that you are supposed to add as the allowable donation rather?
It's
Is
the
the
lower
question
off.
clear?
It's the lower off every time. It's the lower off every time.
Okay, the lower off. Okay.
The lower off.
Thank you very much. Then concerning this reporting, the date, are we supposed to put any date or the date of the exam?
Any date works.
Any date works. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning. Yes.
Hello. Hello. How is it to be applicable for all, Abi? It will be used for all. Being a good Abi.
Sorry,
Thank
who's
you.
speaking?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Geoffrey.
Hello.
Geoffrey, call my name. Geoffrey, sir.
Geoffrey, go ahead.
This is Geoffrey. Sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, my question is still on this allowance. If you look at the trend of always we're all going towards one area. I will go so I'm trying to find out, is there any way that one can
I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know if it's from my end.
okay, are you not hearing me?
No, it's breaking. Is it from my end?
No, his network is bad.
Okay. Yeah, I
Are
can
you
hear
hearing
you
me
now.
now?
Better.
Yes, yes.
No. Hello? Yes. I think it's not
Hello, Mr.
allowed
Kule.
to allow. Because you can
It is
see the
breaking
ones
now.
who are
Oh.
living
Hello,
Mr.
Mr.
Gideon,
Kule.
I will
on
attest to you. Please mute your mic. Mr. Gideon,
is it
please
breaking?
mute your mic.
They've done it for me. I really appreciate. They've done it for me.
Okay.
It has
Thank
been
you.
upgraded. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, Geoffrey,
Sir?
yeah, please go ahead.
I'm just
But
trying
if
to
you can
ask
be more
what
audible, it will be better for
this
us.
as it is allowable and disallowable still on
Better.
it.
Better.
Is there any way that one can easily understand how to know that this one is allowable, this one is allowable, and when it's allowable, it's not. So, it's allowable. Is there a way that the way you gave us a format of those steps in determining tax liabilities, which is a BN tax, is there any something that one can easily understand and pick it in his brain as it should be done, so that one can
Okay. I know what you are looking for. You are looking for this thing, but then the secret to doing it is just the way to do it is just to solve many questions, right? That's just the way to do it, really. To just come and get acquainted. Although there are some that are just for your CIT, the rule is that just make sure that it is only reasonable, exclusive, and necessary. Just apply judgment. And then make sure that the expenses is not capital in nature. If it is capital in nature, it is disallowed automatically. If it is not reasonable enough by your judgment, really, then it is disallowed. But beyond that, right, I will advise you to solve as much questions as possible just to have a very good grasp of them, because there are many of them, to be honest. There are many of them. And most of the time, you have to apply judgment.
It's okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Basirat.
Like, sir, that on that allowable and disallowable that I was talking about. I asked a question in the group yesterday about cultural group of host community. When
Yeah.
I solved, yeah, I later find out from the solution in the part that it was disallowed. It was only the
Okay, so
subscription
is
that was
it
allowed.
wait, so let's get it clearly. The donation rule is simple. It has to meet 4 conditions
Okay.
for it to be allowed. Number 1 is it must not be capital in nature. Number 2 is it is for the fund created by the government for the purpose of war, natural disaster, and crisis. Number 3 is Schedule 5 of CETA. That's it must be within the Schedule 5 of CETA. Then number 4 is so the donation to the fund created by the
Sorry,
government
please, can
must.
you write these conditions in the notes so that we can refer back?
Okay. Conditions for allowing donations. So 1, approved body. Mr. Gideon, please mute your mic. Approved body as specified by CETA. 2, it must not be capital in nature except for donations to tertiary institutions approved by the government. And must not exceed 15% of accessible profit. 3. Donations made to fund established by the government. Right, donation made to fund established by the government for the purpose of war, natural disaster, or crisis, and must not exceed 10% of the accessible profit. Yeah, it's allowed actually. It's disallowed. Are you with me? So, hello, can you hear me? For your donations to be allowed, it has to meet any of the three, not compulsory the three actually. It has to meet any of the three. So if it meets any of the three, then it is allowed. It is when it does not meet any of the three, that's when it is disallowed. Does it make sense? Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay,
Okay,
so
so it's allowed.
it doesn't matter because he had host community. So that was why I thought
It's yeah, that was my thought too, but then it's not a fund created by the government. In fact, I was thinking that it was going to be a community development fund, things like that. But
no, it was
since
a
it's not a fund,
pioneer. I know it was a mining question.
the question Abi, so is disallowed. Sorry about that. Sorry for misleading you. It's disallowed.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Sorry, sir, please, can I say something as
Yeah, go
regards
ahead.
this? Yeah, so my thought was that actually I wanted to allow it before, but since I saw cultural groups, so I was just thinking that it's a cultural group, it does not really specify that they're an host community. So that was more reason why I disallowed it. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it's too far.
that still works too. That still works because for mining, basically, mining is under CIT, so it must meet any not. So let me emphasize this fact: is not compulsory. It must meet the three. Of course, it cannot meet the three, but it must meet at least one of the three. Do you understand? All right, it must meet any of the three. All right. Yeah, Bukola.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Please, regarding the host community, is it allowable or disallowed on that line?
Is it so? Is those communities depending? Is it just host community like host community, host community?
The way she said it, please, what direct question is that? The way she said it.
She said cultural group for this
November
community.
2024, questions 7, I think.
Okay, under my right. So is it
Yeah.
allowed? Is it allowed? Thank you so much.
Is
Is it allowed?
Disallowed.
Okay.
All right.
Sir, sorry, please, may I come again? So had it been the donation is just host community, I think I would have allowed it, right?
So no, it's still disallowed.
Okay.
Because it's still disallowed. Because it doesn't it's not in the approved body. I will send the list of the approved body to you.
Okay, so my continuation. So now we disallow that donation because it's cultural group created by the host community, right?
Yeah. So I'm sending you this
And
thing right
even there
here.
are some donations that they will also allow. They will say, oh, to what's it called? The widows, and they will allow it.
No, that's allowed. Widows, orphanage, old people, that's allowed. Provided those guys are
Sorry, I have seen
approved.
one widow that was disallowed, sir.
So maybe because the custodian of the orphanage, right, is not approved then.
So how do we know if it is not approved?
Actually, I've sent you the list of approved bodies anyway, but
Okay.
then the examiner should tell you. But if you see it on the face of it, you can disallow it. But orphanage and all of that is allowed.
Okay. So number two, regarding this address, irrespective of where you are, you can use any address. Even if I'm in Ibadan, I can
Of
use
course, of
Lagos
course, you can use
address.
any address.
If I'm in Ghana, I can use Niger address.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then number two, the tone of word for internal memo. Is it high
Yeah.
or we?
So the tone for internal memo is, of course, you are talking to your boss now. So
Yes.
you have to be respectful. Use the word for your review, things like that. So it has to be respectful because you are talking to your boss. But
Okay.
for just be practical. That's just the idea there. Not
Yeah.
anything serious.
I know, like
Just be practical.
the word we use. Am I going to use okay hi or we? For this we okay. We write to explain. Is it I am writing or I write to explain? Are you using hi or we?
Of course, you're writing to your boss. It's your personal job. So it's I you will write.
Okay.
But if you're writing to an outsider, it's the firm. So you use we in that context.
Okay. You
Yeah.
can use any location address.
You can use any location of your choice.
Okay. Then number two, for capital allowance, if the TWD given, like the tax written down value, is for December 2020, and they now said, oh, there are some QCE, and they gave us the year of acquisition. For example, furniture and fittings, and the year of acquisition is 6. Please, we're competing for capital allowance, for annual allowance. Is it 10? Furniture and fittings is 25. No, yeah, 25/20. So is it 5, Abby? Let me use industrial building, please. It is 10, 15, 10. So will it be 10 minus 5, or is it going to be 5 years or 4 years? From 2016 to 2020.
So if I get you clearly, you're having issues with determining the useful life of
Number
the
of
asset.
years. Yes.
So now, of course, if it's not TWDV, the number of years it's supposed to use, Abby.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I think my problem is solved that way. So the examiner is expected to tell you the number of years remaining or the number of years utilized. He is expected to tell you that anytime he's giving you tax system value, or he should tell you when the asset was purchased.
Yes.
So anytime he's giving you TWDV, any of the three information will be provided. Either when the asset is purchased, or when the number of years utilized, or number of years remaining. If it is number of years remaining, just use the number of years remaining to determine your annual allowance. Divide the tax value by the number of years. Right? If it is number of years utilized, if it's number of years utilized. So remember that your capital allowance is on PYB.
Yeah.
So if it is purchased in 2020, that's when you are given the year it was purchased. If it was purchased in 2020 and in 2024, for instance, so now what you are supposed to do is start from 2021 up to the previous year based on the year of assessment. Does it make sense to you?
No.
So say for instance, 2016 is what you have as the year of purchase.
Yeah.
Right? And you're working on 2021 YOA.
Yes.
So what you're expected to do in that case is do 2016 is the year of purchase, I said, Abby.
Yes.
So start counting from 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21 year of assessment is the 5th year. So that way you have 6 years remaining for the asset. Does
Okay,
it make
so
sense?
determining capital allowance, it will be for industrial building, it will now be 10 minus the 6 years, right?
No. So it is 10 minus 4.
That's 2016.
So it was purchased in 2016.
Yes.
You start counting from 2017.
And
you're working on 2021 year of assessment.
Okay.
So you start in 2020.
TWDV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you want to determine is number of years remaining.
Okay.
And number of years remaining for an asset is basically just the total number of years the asset is supposed to use minus the number of years utilized. So if it was purchased in 2016 and you are doing PIB, it means you start counting from 2017. So you do 17, 18, 19, 20. If you are working on 21 year of assessment, 21 year of assessment is the 5th year.
But
right?
Then, yeah. But
Doesn't
that
make
was
sense
not how
to
you
you.
solve it. in that in COA for CIT.
I can't hear you. Is it from my end?
Yes. No, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Is it from my end?
I think it's for your end. I can hear.
We can hear her. We can hear her.
Ah, come on.
Sir, please, if I understood you very well, that 2017, 28,
I can't hear
29.
anybody. Hold on a minute.
Okay. But I can hear you. Sir, can you hear me? We can hear you. Hold on for him.
Hold on, let him fix it.
I think to mark. Hello, sir.
He said, hold on.
Let's hold on for you.
Wait now.
Maybe he's trying to fix some things.
Hello.
Sorry
Please,
to
are we still
interrupt.
together?
Yes. Please, is the docket out?
That will be how tomorrow evening now, on Monday morning. Tomorrow evening.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Please, my hand is paining me too. Mr. Michael, can you hear me?
Please, can you just wait for him? He's fixing it now. He's fixing some things. The network is bad.
Okay. Okay. Hello.
Are we still in the class?
Yes.
Yes, I think we're having some network challenges. We are.
Please, so everyone, I asked in the comment section, the last class, was he able to do the transfer pricing? Where did he stop? Because it was easier to send the recording.
Hello, sorry.
The recording is on.
Yeah, hello, sorry. So Suliat.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get the last part of your statement, please.
Okay, I said
Are we good?
when we were solving that in COA, CIT,
Yeah.
the way you explain it now, that was not the way you solved that in COA capital allowance was. Because from that question, we were given TWDV for
Yeah.
the and also the capital expenditure was in year of assessment.
So let me pull up that question so that I can use it to explain.
Yes.
Yeah, let me pull it up. There must have been a reason for me to have told you that way anyway. Let's see. It is up like this, so yes, man. So go ahead.
All right. Okay. From that in COA, the TWD given was what's it called? Was at September, December 31st, 2020. Then the QC was year of acquisition. The first one, industrial building, was 2016. So from that computation, we used 10 minus 5, not 10 minus 4, as you've explained.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Yeah, close that fridge.
So again.
Yeah.
So you say this reading is 20. What's the year of assessment here? No, the year of assessment here is 2022.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So let's go ahead. So here you will have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 5 years. 22 is the 6th year.
And but you said 4 when you were
It's still the
explaining.
same. It's still the same. No, it's still the same thing. For the 4 one, I was referring to 21 year of assessment.
I don't understand, please.
Good. Now, this asset was purchased in 2016.
Yes.
So PYB, right? So you start counting from 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So say 2017 first year,
Mm-hmm.
2018 second year, 2019 third year, 2020 fourth year, 2021 fifth year. Is that correct? But this question now is 2022 year of assessment.
Okay.
So the example I was citing before, I remember I said that 2021 year of assessment. So this is 2022 year of assessment here. So 2022 year of assessment here, meaning that you are going to start from 2017 and end in 2021. 2022 will now be the next year you want to solve. Does it make sense to you now?
2022. So that it will now be 10 minus 5, right?
Exactly. So the way you get the 5 that already uses 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Because you are solving now for 2022 year of assessment. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So let's go to industrial plans, for instance, now. So you start saying 19, 20, 21, meaning it has already used 3 years. The fourth year is 2022 year of assessment. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for 2019, that will be just 2 years, right?
Exactly.
So please come again. Come again.
It's still the same thing. The difference between this one and the earlier example I was citing was that I was referring to 2021 year of assessment. This one is 2022 year of assessment. Do you understand it now?
Okay.
Sir, okay, let me understand. Before we begin to apply this year of assessment, are we not going to determine the tax life first, so that we will
The
now
tax
use it
life.
to?
You mean the useful life?
Yeah, the useful life of the
So,
asset.
yes, the useful life is conventional. For building is 10, for
Yeah.
plant is 4, vehicle 4, furniture and fittings 5. So
Okay, fine.
yeah, so for all of them is conventional for all of the
Yes, I
assets.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
So since you've agreed that it's conventional, right? So for
Yes, sir.
each of the assets, we have to determine when was it purchased.
Okay.
Start counting from a year after, because
Yeah.
that's on PYB.
Exactly.
Then stop a year before the year of assessment you are working on.
Oh, okay, okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. So that will not give us how many years
Yes,
it
it
has
has
been
used.
used.
So
Okay.
minus the number of years it has used from the number of years that's supposed to use, we give you the number of years remaining.
Okay, then the current year that we are applying will be the one we will now do minus 10.
I'm lost though.
No, I mean, okay, the current year now, that's for capital allowance now. So
Yeah.
if we're doing for 2022, when we
Yeah.
stop at 2021, so the next tax written down value now, that's the one we will now, because this is the last year, let's assume for that tax life, we will now do minus 10.
Exactly. So you're saying the number of use minus 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing.
It's okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, let me round it up to be sure I understood. That means, for instance, now, if I'm computing, if the year of assessment is 2022, and I want to determine the number of years the assets have been used, so I will not count 2022. I will stop at 2021.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Or better put. Let me tell you to stop at the accounting year.
That's
How?
2022.
The accounting year is 2021 now.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is the accounting year. So
Yeah.
maybe that will help you. Say stop at the accounting year since it's on PYB. No, the tax year will always be a year after the accounting year.
Okay.
Not be
Okay.
16 to 21, right?
Okay. Okay.
What do you say?
It will not be 2016 to 2021.
The number of years you're counting?
No,
Yes.
it will not be 2017 to
2017 to
2021.
21.
Yeah. Okay. So we will
Oh, yeah.
stop in the accounting year, not the year of
Yes.
assessment.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
start a year after the asset was purchased, PYB,
Yeah.
and then stop at the accounting year. Maybe that's a shortcut to understanding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the year of assessment. That's
Not the year of
just
assessment.
okay, sir.
Start a year after the year of purchase and stop in the accounting year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
So can I continue, please?
Yes, please,
So
guys.
thank you. Under hydrocarbon, under the list of expenses for hydrocarbon, what was there? And they put rent and fees. Is that one under? Sorry, is it allowable or disallowed? The
Rent and fees
yes.
is disallowed. Is admin?
Okay, disallowed. So for admin expenses under hydrocarbon, they disallowed everything apart from the
Yes.
GST. right?
Apart from anything that you can now directly trace, traceable cost, really.
Okay.
Yeah, but admin expenses on the face of it is disallowed.
Okay. Stamp duty. I'm just trying to confirm. Stamp duty for hydrocarbon allowed, disallowed for not
CIT.
allowed for CIT.
Yeah.
Then loss on disposal. It's under expenses. We had back.
Both of them is disallowed.
Okay, loss on
What?
disposal.
What?
Sir, do you know what you do? Just help us under CIT. Just help us again with the items that are allowed and disallowed. Then under PIA, okay, those ones are in your notes so that we can just marry ourselves and just limit ourselves to that.
Okay, that's fine. I think I will make out to do that.
Yeah, for CIT, help us with all the items that are allowed and disallowed. Then for PIA, I think they're in your note too, but you can still help us to recap. I beg, help us
Okay.
here. I beg, don't post it to us so that whenever we're solving any question, we'll be referring to that. I'm sure
Okay.
they will not go beyond what they have not tested in the past questions if they are looking for allowable and disallowable items.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay,
Thank
so
you, sir. Thank you.
for loss on
Hello, sir.
disposal under
Hello.
CIT.
Hello, sir.
Please, this is the last question. I just want to confirm. Loss on disposal under CIT is allowed.
Yes, it's disallowed anywhere.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
All right.
Sir,
Basirat.
Hello.
sir, please, I was raising my hand, but I mistakenly
Hey,
put
I
it
will
down.
call
I'm
you.
supposed to be
I will
next.
call
I'm
you. I will
supposed
call
to be
you.
next.
They're not supposed to be next, though. What I have
I was
here?
putting it up before I dropped it and put it up back again.
Sorry. Sorry. Okay, let me allow you speak. Clement.
Okay. My question is on minimum tax.
Yeah.
When are we to compute minimum tax? Is it just for CIT or we are to compute it too for hydrocarbon tax?
No, there's no minimum tax provision for. I mean, the way you have it for CIT, you don't have like something like that for hydrocarbon tax. So you
Okay,
don't do
sir.
it. You do it for CIT.
Okay, so what if we are given a question that we should compute hydrocarbon tax and also compute CIT?
So you
So
compute your minimum tax following CIT provision. So that way it doesn't affect your hydrocarbon tax at all.
we'll just compute it just for CIT.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Florence.
She just mentioned something now. Since under hydrocarbon, you also ask us to compute hydrocarbon and CIT. So in that case now, since net profit is not given, so we will now use the revenue we derive from that hydrocarbon. Then now less allowable expenses, right?
Are you talking about CIT computation?
Yes, like now, in
Yes,
hydrocarbon, yeah, like in hydrocarbon now, they will not be given net profit
It may
because
be given, but it's not the best way to work.
yeah, like now, for instance, now in hydrocarbon, if we're giving parameters to compute our revenue, we start with revenue, then less allowable expenses. So,
Yeah.
yes. So in this case now, if that same parameter and other few things that will enable us to compute CIT is given, so we can just use that revenue too. So instead of adding back now, just like we normally do in the original computation of CIT, so we'll now do revenue, then less allowable expenses, Abi.
Yes, less allowable expenses on hydrocarbon tax.
Yes.
They now deduct the ones permissible by CIT.
Yeah.
And then you add back the ones that are included in the CIT but are not allowed. If
Yes,
there are
sir.
any of them.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what I mean is that means we'll use revenue. We'll use
Yes,
revenue, not
exactly.
net profits.
No, you don't do net
And
profit.
when you're using revenue, you will not do the normal way of computing CIT. You will do less
Allowable
allowable
expenses.
expenses now, not
Exactly.
adding back disallowable
Disallowable.
expenses.
Yeah, that's it. That
Yeah.
works.
Okay, sir.
But please, in
Okay,
addition to
sir.
what she said, for hydrocarbon, when we were computing CIT under hydrocarbon, they picked everything, including stamp duty. And now that
So
we have stamp duty has been disallowed under CIT,
you are supposed to add it back. You are supposed to add the stamp duty back.
as well.
So the idea there is less allowable expenses under hydrocarbon tax, right? Then less the ones that are permissible by CIT. Then you add back expenses included in your what's the name now? Your
Yes,
hydrocarbon allowable expenses. So that way you are using the hydrocarbon allowable expenses less the one that are not permissible. So ideally you're supposed to deduct stamp duty, add back stamp duty that way.
in Pathfinder, they did not add back. They just pick the whole what's it called? The whole
But
allowable expenses
you
for
agree that stamp duty is not allowed under CIT.
yes.
So that's the way to do about it.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's allowable under
Sorry,
petroleum.
understand
Sorry,
what
are
you
you
just
supposed
explained now,
to?
sir.
Is it allowable under petroleum?
Yes, allowed under petroleum.
Yes, sir.
All
This is
right.
Mr. Kule.
yes, sir.
Please
Please,
mute your mic. I will call you. Let's make it orderly. Let's make it
Okay,
orderly,
okay.
you
please.
called Florence.
Okay, yeah.
How are people behaving like this?
Please, sir, is how to work CPR.
What's it? Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, sir, please, can you take me through how to work CPR just
Help
briefly?
me like.
CPR.
So your
Just like what?
Geoffrey, please mute your mic. So to work your
Just
CPR,
like now.
Yes, sir.
Better.
so to work CPR, right?
Yes, sir.
The way you do it is 65% of revenue, right?
Oh,
So
yes,
there are
sir.
two things you are comparing together. 65% of revenue, then that you do that on one side. Then on the other side, you now do your uh you do your allowable expenses, total allowable expenses, then you add back your some other items like your concession renters, your environmental remediation fund costs, your host community development fund costs, your NDDC charges, and I think there's one more. But you had all of those expenses to the you deduct the expenses from it. You deduct it from the
Okay.
total allowable expenses. So that way you have your net eligible expenses. So you now pick the lower of the two, meaning the lower of your 65% of revenue and the eligible expenses will now be what will now be the allowable expenses.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
This thing you just said
Thank you,
now,
sir.
which of them do we add capital allowance to?
So is this thing you add your capital allowance to use the allowable expenses add capital allowance.
Okay. Now it is the allowable expenses plus capital
Add
allowance. Then
yes, then
let those tax exempt variables.
yes, exempted items.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're
Thank
welcome.
you, sir.
Yeah, Joy.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay. They're getting to my turn because I've been raising my hand since like how many hours and people have been.
Okay.
Anyway, so the question I want to ask is the question
Can
2023.
you speak up a little more?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but faintly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now. Are you on
Okay.
headset?
No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying that I wanted to confirm something. So I saw the question May 2023 on CIT, and they computed, and you said that the companies exempted from computing minimum tax are companies in their first 4 years of commencement. And that company, I think it was Highland, it was commenced 2021, and we were competing for 2022, but they still completed minimum tax on it. Hello, can you hear me? Can
I think
anybody
it's
hear me?
up. Yes, I can hear you. I think Mr. Mike is on
Oh, okay. Thank you.
the network.
Are we still together?
Yes,
We are still together.
yes, we are still together. I think he's having problem with his network.
Okay, okay.
Print out. That's hello. Laptop. Eh? No, print. Most of them print it out.
Mute yourself, abeg.
Print it out. Hello, 300 one copy.
Mute your
Eh?
mic.
Please mute your mic, Jerry.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm the lap.
You have a 20 pages.
Azan Fadilat, please. Azan.
No, 20 pages.
Not learning bargaining skill from that.
Hello, 20 pages.
Co-host, help us mute now, I beg.
3,000.
Ah.
Hello, 6,000. Yeah, no, there.
Now, wow. Please help us mute your mic, Azan.
Are we not solving? We're not solving any questions.
Hello, Joy, please go ahead. Sorry, my network was fluctuating.
Okay, so I asked a question there. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so May 2023 question, I think it was CIT. They completed minimum tax when the company is just like the company was they started manufacturing in 2021. They started business in 2021. but I noticed that they still completed minimum tax on them.
And they didn't write in the report that the company is not subjected to minimum tax.
They did not write. They just said that. I think if I can vividly the question, they said that the company bought. They bought
So what's the name of the question?
Highland 2023 question 1, May 2023.
This one that you are putting, you just want me to be putting, you tell him if it is wrong. I can't tell you that one. No.
But sir, I think for that question, they wrote in the body of the report that because they cannot be charged to minimum tax, they choose the other.
There's supposed to be something like that. So let's take the company come back to 1, 8. Which are we looking at?
This guy
I saw this question before.
Azanas was happening.
Yes.
Mr. Michael, please, can you mute Azan Fadilat?
I've muted that. Have you? No. Okay. I've muted.
Please, Mr. Michael, are you going to teach any other thing today, or is just a question and answer session?
No, sir. Can we concentrate on today's what? This question is getting too much, and we have not achieved anything today.
Anything? Actually, this
The more we ask questions, the more we learn. You understand? There are some
I mean, we should just keep on asking questions. Maybe you can just drop some. Maybe you can just drop something on the group. All these are liable and whatever. Let us do
I think that some of these questions are making someone get confused.
We have lost.
Let's go ahead. Let's forget about question and go ahead.
Let me answer this last question.
I beg. I have one important question. I beg. I beg go.
Hello?
So, I think just cabinet.
Hello?
So kindly mute this question. This Azan woman is so stressful.
That's what is
What's her problem? What's her problem, sir?
Everybody. You can already remove her from
that she's online.
Club by 10 because we have an fear club by 10.
I've done the need. I have done the needful, don't worry. I hope she's not disturbing again, Abby. All right. So, to answer your question, Joy, I'm not sure. But I beg. All right. So to just answer your question is wrong if they've done it, but I think there should be something in the body of reports that would actually modify that to say that. Hold on a minute. Okay, I've seen what you're talking about, Joy. You want me to say these guys are wrong again like this? God, I beg. But it's not the right thing to do anyway. It's not the right. I saw what you're talking about. but I think it's a mistake on their part, and we just have to agree to the fact that companies in the first 4 years of commencement are exempted from minimum tax. Do you all get that? Is it clear, please? All right, good. So I think now that we're good with this, let me just discuss. There's one theory part I want to discuss with you. Let me see if I can. But is there anybody who have question on report writing? If you have any question on report writing, please put your question on the chat box. If you have any question on report writing, because that's the point I even wanted to address today. Actually, Ibrahim, you are. So the ref is just something you cook. Oh. You just cook the ref. Do you understand? Just cook the ref. Anything, any figure you want to cook, just cook it. And you can as well just not put it in the report at all. Do you understand? She's in the room. She's in the room. All right. So that said, we don't put disclaimer about. Don't put disclaimer. What are you disclaiming? You did the work. You're disclaiming what you did again. Ah. So don't put any disclaimer there. Actually, it's a short report, not anything serious. All right. The way gets, I don't know what you mean, Chidera, but the way gets penalized for striking excessive spaces left. No. I mean, there are 40 pages, about 40 pages you can use. So I don't think there's, of course, there's no penalty for you leaving excessive space, but that means you should strike out the pages you don't use in the middle, and then you should write something to notify the examiner that you still have the first page, right? So you can just put underneath, please turn over PTO, things like that. Just something faintly that will communicate to the marker that you still have your thoughts behind. How best to present introduction? So your introduction is just, of course, just make sure that you are relying on the previous information you have. So you can just put things like sequel to our conversation, following the engagement, things like that introduces it. An introduction is going to things like that is just going to introduce you to what you have in the body of the report. So the introduction is just something not something serious. Just delve into it. Just make it practical. That's the idea of the introduction. An introduction should give a sense of what your total report is going to communicate. So you can say, we've completed the computation, the basis for computation, and then the explanation you want to give. So that forms the introduction. So next paragraph now delve into what you want to do, right? Hello, can you hear me? Would you compute? Yes, I will discuss transfer pricing briefly now. Yeah. Pioneer period is tax exempt period, right? So you don't have anything to do pioneer period except where there is what's the name? I have drafted, maybe you came late. I have drafted a sample. I want me to write something now. I've drafted a sample. So your report should not you don't calculate in your report. That's what I'm saying. You don't calculate in your report. So the ideal thing to do is write your report, right? After writing the thank you, yours faithfully, your name, your that of fictitious name, right? Then the next page is the computation, right? And after the computation, the whole thing. So if your firm's consultants to a company and they have given a job to your firm and your boss asks you to write a draft report, so you address it to your boss basically, not to you are not writing directly to the company, you are writing to your boss. So profits in the pioneer period is deemed lost forever. That answers your question, Sam. Yeah, we'll send it to you. All right. Yes, I will drop it. It's in the notes. It's in the notes, so I will drop it and send it to you. All right. That said, so let me quickly discuss transfer pricing. Yeah, in 20 minutes. I've sent the approved bodies to the group. You can check. Right. Or better put, I think I'm not sure the timing will be enough for me to do that, right? To do transfer pricing. So I'll just drop the short note on transfer pricing basically. I think I'll just drop the note. So I'm aware CR is starting by 12. So but I believe that so what I want to do now is I will send the link to the group. Just like I said, the link is just to explain basically, is to explain I mean the link is for you to give me feedback about the class. Please I beg, don't put me to depression. Oh. You're right. I know you can say it anyhow, but please don't put me to depression, I beg. So don't say things like, so I mean you should know how to write your words. That's what I'm saying. Don't put me to write things that will make me feel not too good, right? So that said, I will send you the gazette on transfer pricing. But what transfer pricing is basically talking about, right, is that it is actually for multinational corporation. It's for multinational corporation. And what the idea is that they tend to transact between themselves. Remember, base erosion and profit shifting. So multinational corporations will tend to transact between themselves. And because they transact between themselves, right? So there's need for regulation that will guide the transaction, right? So especially between the connected persons or between multinational corporation, right? So again, transfer pricing will only relate to connected persons transaction. So there are methods in determining if they are consistent with the arm's length principle. If they are consistent with the arm's length principle, there are about 6 methods in determining whether transaction is consistent. Is conducted is consistent with the arm's length principle. So the 6 of them, I would list them in the group and give you the note that explains that, right? So that is that about transfer pricing is very, very easy, but I do not think it's something that is very serious for your diet. So I think I can use the remaining time, since it's dated, I can use the remaining time to attend to your questions, because I don't think it's fair not to attend to everybody who has questions when I've answered some people, right? Right. So now it's just the question.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Hello, Mr. Michael. Sorry. You
Yeah.
mentioned something yesterday about Unity Fund Scheme. Please, what's that? Because I tried
Unit
setting it up and
unit trust scheme. No calculation on transfer pricing is computation. Unit trust scheme. So what unit trust scheme? Unit trust scheme is what's basically is like your mutual fund, basically, right? So like what asset managers typically would do. So what unit trust scheme is basically talking about is some people will put their funds together, right? Commit it with an investment manager to invest on their behalf. which is so the investment manager now invests in different classes of assets, right? So basically, it's just investment company. Basically, that's what unit trust scheme is largely. Do you understand? So the people who invest in that unit trust scheme are called unit holders, right? So that's basically what unit trust scheme is basically. And the dynamics there is just that the dynamics, what makes that different from a typical company is the fact that their income, their revenue, their income basically is income from investment, right? Do you understand? That's what makes that a little bit unique. But of course, they follow the principle of CIT in determining their tax liability. So not anything so not anything so serious like that. Does that answer your question, Chinelo?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, I think I've answered Florence and Joy already. Benjamin. Okay, James.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Muchi, sir. This is Benjamin, sir.
Okay.
It's about the report writing. You said where the name of the firm is not given, that we can assume the name of our own firm with the address under. So I want to ask, after doing that, is it still safe to maybe write maybe a short note beneath that this is an assumption or there's no need at all? Just trying to play safe.
They said you have a firm of chartered accountant. Abi, you have to write that is a firm. It is not necessary at all to say that is an assumption because the examiner has already expected you to assume. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, so
So
please I have a question on.
don't major on the minor. That time you're using to other assumption, you would have used it to get 1 mark somewhere again. Don't forget what you need to scale this thing is 50 marks. And just like I said, time management is very, very, very important for you. Time management. Many students that I know in recent times that I've had interaction with, they blame themselves after the exam that they don't answer what they know. I understand the pressure, right? Read between the lines, use the 15 minutes wisely. Read, answer. If one question is trying to hold your neck, you to hold it by the jugular, move to the next one. Do you understand? Make sure you answer the 5 questions completely. I mean, this life is very easy. Do you understand? Don't focus on that. Your number one is a distraction. Your number one is a distraction. It's possible for you to pass solving other things, even ignoring number one or doing number one minimally. It's very possible. You can still get 50/70. But if you do 2 hours on number one, I'm just wondering how you manage your remaining 1 hour on the other 4 questions that can make you scared. And one funny thing about that number one, the way it's very tedious, I'm not sure you will still get 30/30. So manage it very well. So if I would advise you, but again, it's my own advice, you should do number one last. There are simple questions around that number 5, 6, 7. Read that place, put your concentration there, get out of that 30 marks that is there. You have a lot of options. Pick that just settle there. Out of the 30 marks available there, pick 20 out of it. Out of the 40 marks that you have in your 2, 3, 4, try as much as possible to pick some 30, 20 marks out of that place too. So you know that you have a lot of time to deal with that your number one. But if you focus on that your number one, it has distracted you. You now come out of the exam where you're now saying that and number 4 is what I know. I would have done this one. No. And there's no rule that says you should do A before B. There's no rule that says you should do B before C. So you can do one C first. And if the angel of light brings C later, do it. You understand? Just make sure you write it very bold that you're doing 1A, 1B, 1C. Do you understand? So I understand that you are human. You are likely to forget many things. All of us are working. Do you understand? We only need this for career advancement. So I understand all of our biases. Do you get? So make sure you're answering it. You make it a little bit bold, right? You make it a little bit bold that you're answering 1C. That's what I expect you to do. But do 1C first if that's what you know very best. And also put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward. Answer the question that will make you confident more in the exam than the one that will throw you off balance. Does it make sense? So Benjamin, have I answered the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. James.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please, I need some clarification as pertaining the annual allowances. Is in what situations we should use the straight line method and the reducing balance method?
There's no reducing balance of straight line. There's no reducing balance in tax. Everything is straight line.
Okay, everything is straight line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, please, in the particular Pathfinder, May 2024, question 1, in the solution, they omitted annual allowance for 2019. So I don't know if it is pertaining to the Finance Act of 2020, whereby it becomes the PYB.
I've done the correction for May 2021. Yeah, the direct refer to. So you may want to refer to the solution sheet for the correct stuff.
Okay, okay. And one
I've
more
done the
thing, please. The double taxation relief, sir. Please, I need clarification for the Commonwealth rate of tax, how to get it.
So the Commonwealth rate of tax is foreign tax suffered, right? Your foreign
Okay.
tax suffered divided by the total profit.
Okay, okay. How about the foreign capital allowance?
It should be given in the question.
Okay, okay, okay. So for the Commonwealth, for the Commonwealth rate of tax, you said foreign tax suffered divided by the total profit for the foreign country, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Silas.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, good
my
morning.
question is on three foods. Okay,
You know
the one
what?
of the question is this. I say it's on three foods. One of the question is this: when we are doing a hydrocarbon tax, is it possible that they are not likely to give us the production allowance?
No. The
That's
examiner is
number
not a
one.
woman. The examiner is not a woman.
Okay. Okay, it's going to give us production allowance. Then another question is this: I just want you to give me some of the classes of assets that has to do with investment allowance, and at the same time,
It's
the
just
year
plant and
that.
machinery and plant and equipment. That's all.
Okay, okay. Then another one, it might sound somehow ridiculous. So, like when we are answering question in our exam, the answer sheet, if you have a question, maybe it has to do with ABC, something like that. Are we meant to like now we have started a question, then finish maybe a part of it? Are you meant like to turn over, then start the next one at the back? Is it right? I just want to
What
clear
I
that
know,
part.
what I know is that answer fresh question on different sheets, but you are free to answer number one on number one sheet.
Okay, okay.
Do you understand? So if you are
All
doing
right.
number one, you
Yes.
can do number one, but let's say you do number one, your number one now flow to the second page, right? So if your number one flow to the second page, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And maybe just use 2 lines in the second page. Please do number 2 on the new page, not on that same sheet. Don't manage it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
But answer.
But every number one, like as you said, every number one, I can still finish that number one, but we not extend it to number two.
I didn't get you. Yes, you can
I
do
said
number
that
one question
number
on
one,
the page,
that number
but
one
don't
as it
extend.
is, you cannot extend it to number two. Okay, so I got you.
Yeah, that's it.
I got you. All right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Okay, Sam.
All right, my question is this. Although you kind of answered, but what I was basically asking was that the net profit that we usually have under our information in the question in Pioneer. So when they give us net profit, should we bother solving for the adjusted profit for those Pioneer period, or we should just leave it and not solve it at all? For loss, we solve for loss to know the adjusted um to get the adjusted loss that you are going to use as loss lead for the first year post pioneer. So I don't know if you get my question, sir.
So I'm not sure I got your question, but the rule there is losses made in the pioneer period are carried forward to the post pioneer period, while profits made in the pioneer period, right? Profit made in the pioneer period are ignored in the post pioneer period.
So my question is this: when we have the net profit, should we bother solving for adjusted profit at all, or we should just ignore?
In the pioneer period. You mean in the pioneer period?
Yes, in the pioneer.
No, don't bother,
yes.
don't bother.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, don't bother. All right. So
Hello, sir.
yes.
Hello, sir. This is Christopher. Sorry, I was speaking earlier when you called, but I don't know if you can. Okay, so my questions are around computation of CIT for oil companies, right? Where we use the gross revenue and then we less the allowable expenses under PIA and the rest. Now, in that gross revenue part, if maybe in the question we have stuff like other income and exchange gain, do we add them up to the gross revenue before lessing those allowable expenses, or we just take only the gross revenue? So on computation
I didn't get you.
Of CIT for oil companies, right? You know that the format, what we did is like take the gross revenue expenses on that, and then you less PIA and those under CIT. Now I'm saying that part where we took the gross revenue, I'm saying if in the question you have other stuff, other income, you have exchange gain in the compensation for CIT for the oil company. Do we?
Yes. You consider other.
Do we now?
Yes, you consider other income
those
that
other income.
taxable for CIT. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You consider other income taxable for CIT.
All right. That's clear.
All right.
Thank you.
I didn't care.
Good morning. Thank you. My
Good
question
morning.
is on the double taxation. So how about
Yeah.
the formula that you promised that you help us to check
Okay.
for where there is agreement and where there is no agreement between the company? That's one. And there is another area that I want you to help me to clarify is under hydrocarbon tax and the lighting. Is lighting allowable under hydrocarbon tax? What of traveling?
Lightning. Okay.
Yeah. And also power cost. And the third one is traveling. Looking at 3 items, I think is more administrative than
So you've answered the question. You've answered the question.
traveling. Okay, you have answered it. Maybe
I mean, you yourself, you've answered it.
Okay, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
So since it's admin, you do what you are supposed to do. You disallow it.
Okay.
All right.
So that means in hydrocarbon, expenses that are purely administrative are disallowed.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So let me just quickly write down the formula. Yes. So you give me an assignment, though, no problem. So now the first one is where there is agreement, right? Where there is agreement. So the idea there is, are you with me?
Yes.
Where the Commonwealth rate is higher than the Nigerian tax rate, use the Nigerian tax rate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Right? Where The Commonwealth rate is lower than the Nigerian tax rate. Use the Commonwealth rate. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Please, I quickly want to chip in here.
Yeah.
The last time we discussed this, you mentioned half of Nigerian tax rate.
Yes, and I promised that I was going to get you the correct thing. So this is based on a circular release by FIRS in 2022. So what I said in the last class is outdated. That's what it means.
Okay.
This is based on the circular released by FIRS. I will share the circular with you in 2022. Do you understand?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Does it work? Hello, does it work? Are you there with me?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, so where there's no agreement, what I told you yesterday, what I told you in that last class, that is where there's no agreement. Your teacher has called me, your CR teacher. I'm meeting to his time.
I have a question, though. I have a question.
Yeah. So if you are doing
CR, other people that have been chipping now.
Please, if there's agreement between the two countries, how do we know the rate to use?
How do you know what?
The rate to use. If there's agreement, if there's double tax relief agreement between the two countries, which rate are we going to use?
That's the rate I told you now. So are you saying how do you determine the Commonwealth rate? Is that what you're asking?
No. Like this one you said now, if there's agreement, and if there's no agreement between the two countries.
So if there's no agreement, so use that's where if the Commonwealth rate is half of Nigerian rates. So that's the half of Nigerian rates. So this is what you use.
Oh, so please, this is confusing. They say that if there's agreement between the two countries, that in this how am I even going to say? That in the agreement oh my God. So please, what I'm trying to say is that when there's an agreement between the two countries, you know that they already have an agreed rate. So when we are computing the tax relief, how do we know the rate to use? How do we see the agreement they have already made?
That's what I'm saying. So how do you know the tax rate? That's what you're asking, Abby.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's foreign tax so far divided by the total profit. So where there's no agreement,
okay,
the foreign rates. So where there's no agreement, right? Where the foreign rate is higher than half of Nigerian rate, use half of Nigerian rate. Where the foreign rate is lower than half of Nigerian rates, use the foreign rate. That's it.
Mr. Michael, I know missing it up. You say where there is no agreement. I thought the last one should be where there is agreement. Then the first one should be where there is no agreement.
I didn't get you. Yes.
They say where there is no agreement, then is if the foreign tax is higher than half of Nigerian rate. I thought this clause should be when there is agreement. Then the other one that you wrote for where there is agreement should be where there is no agreement.
the idea, are you with me? Don't forget that the idea of double taxation is to reduce the tax liability. So when there's no agreement, right? When there's no agreement, are you with me?
Yes.
Who is this person?
So because it seems if there's no agreement, you are still favoring them because they're paying lower tax rate. They're giving them lower tax rate.
So where there's no agreement, you're giving them a lower relief compared to if you had agreed with them. That's what it means. Do you understand? Hello, do you understand?
I'm trying to. Okay.
So what you're saying is if there's an agreement, it's an higher rate. If there's no agreement, it's a lower rate.
Exactly, because it's a relief. The idea is to reduce the tax liability. So come to think of it rationally, if I don't agree with you, why would I give you more incentive than somebody I agree with?
The relief should be higher when there is an agreement.
You understand?
When there's no agreement, the relief will be low. Okay, we are looking at
exactly
the relief perspective.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. So I want to ask a question on this. There is formula that usually say Commonwealth rate minus half Nigerian rate. I expected maybe what you are actually, like going to state for that that's why there is no agreement. I'm somehow confused. I don't know if you can clarify me on that. So I said there is formula I usually see Commonwealth rate minus half Nigerian rate. I don't know whether it's under where there is no agreement. I just wanted to clarify me on that.
Minus, I didn't get you.
Okay, I said under double taxation, there we have a double taxation agreement. Where there is no double taxation agreement. So I said there this formula that says Commonwealth rate minus half Nigerian rate. I don't know where it falls, whether it's under where there's no agreement. That's just
Okay,
what I wanted to clarify.
That is outdated. It is outdated.
Okay, it's no more in use. Okay.
Yes, I will send you the circular. Let me send you the circular so that your work will
all
be
right,
fine.
sir. Thank you. Yeah.
So you can just read it and deduce anything you want to.
Sir, please, I have a question.
All right, please go ahead.
Hey, please, there are other people that have been raising their hands to ask questions, and this is not right. He never raised up his hand.
Go ahead, man. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I wasn't seeing my screen. Oh, sorry, I wasn't seeing my screen. But let's just be patient with ourselves, right? But if you're attending CR class, please, I think CR has sent the link, so you may want to join. I'm sorry, but you may want to join his class. So, Abdurrahman should be the next person. Samad, Fatima.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is related to the one I asked earlier on business period. So if the pioneer period ended March 31, 2019, so it means the business has in the face of the law, the business has now commenced 1st of April. So, but in the additional information I saw, I noticed that there was they gave us an adjusted profit for the year ended March 31, 2020, which means that period would have started immediately after the pioneer period.
Sorry, come again, please.
Okay, so I have a question. The pioneer period ended 31st of March 2019. So it means the business will commence 1st of April or that same 2019. So based on what you said earlier, I will have used the 2019 rule for it. That means I will have done to the year end. But what I now saw is that I have an additional information that now says profit for the year ended March 31, 2020 is 52 million.
So it doesn't matter, you prorate it.
Okay, sir.
All right. Now you see the profit does not change anything, you only prorate. All right, so Fatima, Kehinde, Adenike, Deborah. All right. Okay. Tawa Abdul. Okay. Modupe. Modupe. Okay.
Sir, okay.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, under the CIT, under PIA, that you said that we should less the allowable from the gross income if the actors compete for CIT. So the stamp duties that they've allowed in PIA, do we deduct it or?
You had it back. You know, it was earlier deducted. You had it back, so you have the net effect.
Okay, you add it back.
Yeah, to have a net effect. So minus
So,
plus give you
so
zero.
all the ones that are not allowable under CIT, you add back.
Yes, you had it back. That's if you are
Okay,
bringing up the total allowable expenses under PIA.
Okay, and then you deduct the allowable under CIT.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay. And also, when there's double taxation relief, yes, when there's double taxation relief between the countries, is that when you have that that they say you should choose between CWRT or half of
Exactly. That's when you
yes.
do it.
But what of if there's no double taxation relief?
So where there's agreement. Do you mean the agreement or relief? Because relief will always exist whether
Okay,
there is
yes,
agreement.
agreements. I mean agreements. I mean agreements.
Okay, so where there is agreement, right? So you choose the higher, the lower of the Nigerian tax rate and the Commonwealth rate. That's where there is agreement. Use the lower of the tax rates and the Commonwealth rate. And when there is no agreement, use the lower of half of Nigerian rate and the Commonwealth rate.
Can you repeat it again? When there's agreement.
Where there's agreement, use the lower of the Nigerian rate, right, and the Commonwealth rate. Where there is no agreement, use the lower of half of Nigerian rates and the Commonwealth rate. I think that's just the simple interpretation.
The one we normally do of half of Nigerian rate and the lower of this thing, Commonwealth. That's when there is no agreement. That's the normal one we normally do.
Yes, that's when there's no agreement.
Okay, but when there's agreement, it is the lower of the
Yes.
Nigerian tax and CWR.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay.
All right,
Okay.
Tawa Abdul. Okay, Sunday Babs. So Moses.
I'm here.
Okay. Sunday, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. God bless you. It's not easy to lecture. The idea around this pioneer, which has to do with the losses before the pioneer period. You know, at times you used to get losses and a profit, which you have to work and by virtue of trying to adjust before you know what you have left. Then
Yes.
if peradventure you have losses and a profit aftermath, then you see what you do. You need to sum everything together, both losses and profit, to see what you have before you can
So the
do an
next.
adjustment.
Yeah.
On the computation of CIT.
So if you have profit and loss in the pioneer period, right? So it's the net of it you will take to the post-pioneer period. So your net loss is what is going to the post-pioneer period.
Okay. That's number one. Then another question I'm trying to ask is this one is just is not really technical, but just approach to exam. You know, and in the course where you are managing your space in this thing, you know, it must. Yeah, I think you need the answering of this the question need not to be sequential. As in, if you are taking number one, you are maybe if you are not ready, you leave the space.
Correct.
Of number one, and you go to number
Okay.
two, or you can just pick on number two and later do number one. What do you think?
So what I would advise you is do what you know best first.
Okay, irrespective of the sequential, maybe number one, number two.
Honestly, you don't. In fact, that sequential, even in the question, self, don't follow sequence. I'm telling you. In the question, I mean, in number one, self, don't do 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. It's not. There's no rule like that. If it is 1A, you know first do 1A. If it's 1C, you know next do 1C. Just label it that you are doing 1C boldly, right? To avoid negative home support. Do you understand?
Because you know the examiner, we don't know where it's coming from.
Exactly. So, but
Someone that
label it
have
boldly.
taken Brokuno and not there, they'll just put in charge.
But fortunately and unfortunately for us, they lodge them in hotels. All of them are flexing.
Michael, you are not there.
They lodge them. They mark at airport hotel now. Oh, I'm not supposed to say this one. They mark at airport hotel.
Okay.
But
Okay, so one serious note: the sequential arrangement does not.
It's not relevant. It's not relevant.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, what I'm saying is, do 1A. If 1C is what you know next, do 1C. Just make sure you label it correctly. That this is 1C. Do you understand? And when you are doing 1D, make sure you do 1D. And if after doing 1D, you feel that this is where God has helped you reach. You have reached your Ebenezer for that number one. Number two is what you know next. Jump and do number two. So let's say the next page now. You remember 1D. Write it there. It's 1D now doing now. Do you understand? But make sure you don't answer two questions on the same page. Meaning that you don't answer 1 and 2 on the same page. Do you understand? Don't do 1 and 2 on the same page.
Can we write 1A? Can we answer 1A and 1B on the same page?
Sure, you can.
Number one.
That's number one. But you should not answer 1, 2 on the same page. And if after answering 1A and 1B, what you know next is number 2. You've done number 2 on the next page. And then God now help you now remember 1C. Go to the next page and do 1C.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Don't do. Do you understand? It's possible like that. Just make sure that each question are taking a new sheet, right? And don't just avoid that pressure. I beg.
Another thing, Michael, is this management of the page. Maybe you have left page number 1 for your report, and you see that and you have worked on page number 2, 3, 4. And while writing the report, there's no space. The space is not enough to continue. How do you manage that?
Just so in that case, what I would advise you is leave more than enough space. Leave more than enough space.
You know, at times it happens.
So
you have already paid for the script.
Yes, we have 40 pages to answer 5 questions. So
not to fall into error. Just leave enough.
Yes, just leave enough page. So in case you're not able to answer, let's say you thought it's going to take 2 pages and it's now taking 1 page. So on the second page, just cross it out and say please turn over so that it can prove to the next page and then continue his life. Do you understand?
Good. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, I have questions too.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Now, my question is on this report writing of the things. Is there any form of
Please,
writing?
it's not the next person now. Oh, see, please, my system is about to go off, and I'm actually waiting for my turn to get here.
Ask your question, please. Ask your question. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I got carried away. Sorry. Please go ahead, Gloria. That's Gloria, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, please go
Okay,
ahead.
so I want to confirm something. First of all, gifts to customer and embezzlement by cashier. Are they allowed or they are not allowed?
So embezzlement by cashier is
Understand.
disallowed. You know him, go and collect your money from you.
Okay, so but I thought there was something you mentioned whereby embezzlement by a lower staff is allowed, but
Cashier is somebody that should have integrity. You can't commit money into somebody that is not worth it, right? So you know him gonna meet you, collect your money from him.
Okay.
Abi?
Then what of the gifts?
Okay, so sir, in that case, cashier is higher than is a higher staff.
Yes, because you expect him to have integrity.
Okay, so in that case, you disallow it.
You disallow it. Go and collect your money from
The
him.
investment, okay, the investment by MD2 is disallowed. So that one
Of
is
course, of course.
just
If him is embezzling,
Ah,
everybody's a thief now.
okay.
Mr.
So
Sorry,
in
Michael,
this
let me
case, now cashier is
hold on, let me
important.
finish my question. Oh,
You
I
people
started
should
talking
allow the
about
person ask her
ah,
question now.
All right. So for the second one, gift to customer. So it depends on how the examiner coin it. But on the real sense of it, I feel gift to customer is a promotional exercise. Right? It's a promotional exercise.
And
Then
that to
in that
encourage them.
case, is allowed.
but one of it was disallowed. That Highland question, it was disallowed. Although it was stated as Christmas slash Eid Kabir to that's gifts to customer.
So if it's stated that way, but even irrespective of when you are giving them gifts, I feel is allowed because of the time you are giving. Because the idea of gift to customer basically is to induce them to buy more. So that's promotion. That's business promotion.
Okay. All right. So please, the last one. Are losses relieved indefinitely under CIT? Because I know for
Yes.
Pioneer it's just the first year.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Indefinitely.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask my question now, Mr. Michael?
Yeah, Moses, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Chief. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, my question is in service.
Time is the last person I have here. Time is the last person I have here.
Okay. My question is in service. First, in answering our questions, let's say I'm answering question 1, for instance, and I don't know the number of pages is going
Jump
to
on that
take.
class. Please feel free to join the class, please. Okay, go ahead.
Neither. Okay. I'm answering a question. Let's say question 1, for an instance. I don't know the number of pages is going to take. I mean the solution. Is it advisable? Can I start from my appendix, that is my workings, to the solution? Or
No,
must I do the first
no,
page?
it's from the solution to your working. So
Okay, I shouldn't start from
no,
workings
it's
to
a
solution.
solution. It's the solutions down to workings, not workings down to solution. You are stressing the man now.
Okay, that is one. Then 2, under hydrocarbon, where production allowance is not given or royalty, is
The
there
examiner
formula
will give you. The examiner will give you. Don't worry. He's not a woman. To be honest, he's a man.
Okay. Then
Don't
again,
don't think bad thing. You get. Don't think bad thing. I beg.
okay. Again, host community, is there a rate for donation made to host community? As in, is there a percentage that you are
Under
supposed
PIA?
to? Yes, under PIA.
No,
Yes.
no, no. There's no restriction.
So you just, if they, whatever amount they give to
Yeah,
host
because
community.
everything will still be restricted to your net eligible expenses at the end of the day. So there's no restriction for that.
Okay, because I saw a question, I saw that they restricted it to 3%. That's why I asked this question.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
If not that guys catch you,
All right, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. My question is in May 2023, question 4. There is this particular question that I can usually ask or say, probably during some of these exams we usually engage on, in respect to first 2 appraisal work costs. There was
Yes.
a time you said that if that it is basically 2/3 multiplied by the cost given or
No,
something.
that's what I said though.
Okay.
What I said is that it is restricted to first 2 appraisal costs. So I didn't say 2/3. So only the first 2 appraisal cost is allowed.
Yes, it's allowed. Yes.
Yeah. But I didn't say
Okay.
to complete. I didn't say to complete it will always be 2/3.
Oh, okay. Secondly, in a situation whereby in hydrocarbon tax, is in a situation whereby we are giving in question the revenue, and in to achieve the revenue, we have the balancing charge, of which we are adding the balancing charge with this other cost. What's it called now? The revenue, to get the total revenue. I mean, then we had the balancing charge and all that. And in that same question, we are also giving this what's it called? This barrel price and all this to compute revenue as well. In this situation, we are it's now two options to determine, to use a particular revenue in order to compute
You,
our
you
hydrocarbon.
don't have an option there. Oh. Balancing charge is a revenue line independent of your fiscal value of the value of oil sales. So that is not
Yes.
optional. It is when you want to determine your fiscal value of oil sales that you now do the higher of the fiscal value and the actual price. Do you understand? So you don't have the
Okay. Yes.
option to select between balancing charge and the value of oil sales. Value of oil sales is a revenue, balancing charge is a revenue.
Yes, sir, but unlike this question, this question 4, May 2023, we are giving different type of revenue types, and we are also asked to compute we are not told to compute revenue, but they give us that question, of which they believe that students should have the knowledge of computing revenue again, aside from the one they gave us in the question.
Yes,
I don't know if
So
you
it's still the higher of actual value and fiscal value of oil sales.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the
Do you understand?
revenue we are to use. Yes, I understand. I understand what you said. So now, but we have to use the one we computed, right?
I didn't get you. Please come again.
Okay. Okay. In the question, we are giving gross revenue, and we are also giving a question that has to do with us computing the physical of
Okay.
oil
So
sales,
what you are
and
saying is that you have a breakdown. You have a breakdown. You have a breakdown of the revenue,
yes,
but you are given the gross revenue in the question.
yes,
Is that what you are saying, Abi?
yes,
So in the
yes. That's
additional
what I'm
information, there is
saying.
a breakdown for the revenue, and the one there is gross revenue. Ignore the gross
Yes.
revenue and compute it by yourself.
Okay, we compute the gross revenue ourselves.
Yes, ignore the gross. I'm sure the gross revenue will be wrong. I'm very sure of that. It's a woman that used to say that thing. I'm sure it's going to be wrong.
Because that has been giving serious issue over to 2 3 days of writing this thing, and I usually pick the one they gave to us and
No,
ignore the one
it's
we
a
have to
setup.
complete.
Setup. It's a setup. It's a
Ah,
setup.
I go don pass this thing since. Kai, okay,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
So now we are that balancing charge. We have to add it to the one we computed, right?
Yes, so ignore the gross revenue. Anytime you have a breakdown for revenue, just ignore
Yes.
anything the examiner give you. Go and do it by yourself. Higher of actual value and fiscal value of voice sales.
All right, sir. I think we have
Yeah,
solved
that's
the.
all right.
Hello,
Gift.
Mr. American.
Gift.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
I give the
I
call.
think, are you there, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so far. I think some of my questions have been answered, but two things. The mock exam you said you were going to drop. I don't know how
I
soon
will
we can
share
get
with
that
you today. I will share it today.
today.
Yes, I will share it today. I stood yesterday. I was very busy. I stood from morning till around 6 p.m. I was facilitating a class.
Yeah, but then
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Michael.
Yes, please go ahead.
want to ask you a question. In a lighter note, why you normally mention woman? If anything,
God bless you.
the
God bless
woman
you.
don't wound you before.
Abi,
No, nah. You want me to
When
tell
I've
you my
seen a situation, there are
you,
some questions that I have
every
seen
day is a woman
that they
that
are
said it.
mentioned some names that are related to man. When someone asks like a question, Kolanim, Kolamrod, for the person to be mentioning Kolamrod, I know where the question is from. No, it's from man. So I want to ask you, on behalf of all the women on this group,
Yes,
the
you're
woman
right.
don't want you before.
Madam, now woman and now money and
I
woman
go
rule the
ask,
world.
oh,
Now money and woman rule the world. Now
But
woman
can
and
we
actually.
ask
woman
our
rule the
thoughts
world.
on this?
Yeah.
Let Michael answer my question.
Okay, no problem. No,
True.
actually. Anyway, you want me to
Woman.
tell you? Okay,
We are
no problem.
pleasant people. Women we are good. We are
Yeah, you are
good
good
and we
people
are
actually.
pleasant. We
But
don't stress.
women. What I used to mean by women setting the question is women that will have problem and they will tell you the opposite. Because why will you give me revenue when you know that the revenue is wrong? Why? If you are not a woman.
Omo, you are very correct guy.
So if a woman tell you leave me alone, the woman means stay with me.
I beg you, Ayoko.
Can we go ahead with your question?
Okay, Mr. Mike. Sorry, I still wanted you to please to help us to check very well concerning this embezzlement with cashier because there's a question under
Take
CIT.
cashier there.
It is allowed. Under CIT, it is allowed. Help us to verify this issue. Embezzlement with cashier. It is allowed.
Embezzlement.
With
Cashier from there. Oh my God,
No, I'm
Embezzlement.
saying, Mr. Mike, to help us to verify, please. I've seen a question. It is embezzlement with all those organs that are not allowed. In that question, embezzlement by cashier, in that question, it was allowed. Please help us to check very well and revert.
I don't think any investment is every
allowed.
cashier will be
No. It's not allowed.
It's disallowed. Look at this
In
question.
enough form. I've been on this thing for long ago. It's not form.
I wonder how. You know the man, you know the cashier already. For you to say it's even done by cashier, you know him already. Go and collect your money from him now.
And the cashier is a man.
Okay.
Yes.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, cashier ọkùnrin náà máa ń jẹ́.
Mr. Michael.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Please, I have a
Sir.
question.
Yeah, good morning.
You've
I've
been
called
calling
you.
me
Past
since
me already.
I've been
Yes.
calling you. Sorry, hold on a minute.
Yes, I'm trying to mute myself, but it's unable to mute. I have to come back to my phone.
Okay, no
So my
problem. Please.
question is based on this qualified capital expenditure.
Okay.
Last year diet, the January 1, 2016, pictures and written. The 20 that was written in front bracket, what's the 20 for?
So it means there are 20 assets.
Okay.
So it means that if that has gotten to the final year, or I've not seen the question you're talking about, but that has gotten to the final year, so you know you're supposed to keep
November
10.
2024.
So you know you're supposed to keep 10 naira.
Question 1.
Okay, let's just ignore the stuff. But let me explain the context,
Okay.
right? So you know you have 20 assets. So in case you get to the final year, right? So you're expected to do 10 naira times 20.
10 years. Okay.
Exactly. That's what it means.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then the motor vehicle, a road
Yeah, the
scheme
same
and
thing.
bracket.
Yes, meaning
So,
we have two assets.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's only that my question, another second question, the one I sent to you, there's all these
I told you to message me. After the class, I told you to message
I
me.
messaged you. I sent voice message. You did not even reply to me.
No,
Okay, but
you know,
I know that by God's grace, I will pass that.
amen. You pass. Amen. I told you immediately to
But
message me, but you did not.
I
Sorry.
message you immediately now.
Okay, so message me
I
again.
will say,
Message
okay,
me now.
I will
Please message
again.
me now. Send
I
me a
will
message now.
again.
We'll
Okay.
immediately.
Okay. Please, my
Sorry.
Thank you.
No, Joshua should be the next
I asked
person.
the question
Joshua
on
should be the
WhatsApp.
next person. Joshua
You
should be the
said?
next person. Joshua should be the next
Oh,
person.
okay, okay. I thought you can.
Joshua, James, Modupe, Moses, Omoyemi. Who is
Hello,
speaking?
sir.
Okay, Omoyemi, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Good
please go
morning,
ahead.
sir. Sir, I want
Yeah,
to
good
ask
morning.
regarding minimum tax. I know you've answered a couple of times, but I still don't get it. When are we supposed to gross it back, to gross back dividend?
Don't gross anything. See, don't give yourself a dick.
Okay.
If it is not incorporated in the turnover, just move on with this thing, and you can as well ignore dividend and move on.
Okay.
Just ignore it, because the idea is if you add it, you have to deduct it again. Plus, minus will give you 0.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you don't have to give yourself a dick over dividend, actually.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah. So Joshua, James, Modupe, Moses.
Yeah,
Yes,
James.
sir.
James,
Sorry.
James, go ahead. James, go ahead.
Hello, sorry. As regards the allowances, when are we to use a number of years to divide?
It's only when the basis period is. When are you supposed to use number of years? Is that what you said?
Yes, number of years to divide to get the
So
annual
it's when you are
allowance.
giving the tax system value. It's when you are giving the tax system value.
But when we are giving the cost, you do the normal computation, right?
Yeah, you do normal process. Normal process.
Okay. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Welcome.
sir. Moses now asking.
Yeah.
Sir, sorry, while answering one of us, you made mention of while computing the revenue. Okay, we should ignore we should use the one we computed. So my question is, where the one examiner gave in the body of the question is higher than the one we computed, which one are we going to take?
It's impossible.
No, it's possible. Sometimes you
It's
see that
impossible.
the one, maybe
It's
they will come exported crude. Maybe the one you computed is higher. They will now come natural gas. They also gave you physical price, actual price. When you compute, you notice that the one in the body of the question is a little bit higher than the one you computed. In that case, what will you do?
So I'm saying it's impossible. It's just only a proof that you've computed the wrong thing. If you do it correctly, because all along you've been doing the higher of. So that you're getting the lower answer is a proof that you've done the wrong thing. Because I'm wondering why you'll be doing higher of, and your answer will still be lower than somebody who just picked at random. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand, but because
Yeah.
I don't know anyway. Let me.
So if you've
But
done
in
it,
that
I
case,
will advise you, in case you have issues like that, just calm down and do it again line by line to avoid. So you understand? Just calm down and do it again, because I'm just in my head now. I'm thinking gross revenue, and the man give you a breakdown. He picked at random, and you picked higher all along, and you still get something lower than what he got. It's impossible.
like I said, before I ask this question, the question I'm also solving is somewhere here now. The one in the body of the question, even the solution there, the one in the body of question is 75 million. The one they computed is 70 million, but they picked the one for 70 million instead of the one in the body of the question examiner gave that 75. That's
Okay, in that case, use your own now, because you've done the correct thing.
okay, so I should ignore that examiner's
Yes,
own.
like I said before, use your own. That's the answer I gave to the first person. Always ignore the gross revenue given the question, provided you have a breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
But again, don't over assume. In that case, please, I beg you, try to do it again. Be sure you are doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
this question is maybe I've done the right thing. Maybe checking it, I've done the right thing I'm supposed to do, and my
Yeah.
value is lower than.
Yes. So use your value. Use your value.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So Joshua, Modupe, Gift, Soleat, Joy.
I'm here.
Tunde.
Good, sir. Good
Who is
morning,
there?
sir.
I'm here.
Okay, Joshua.
Joshua.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Yeah. The question I want to ask, though you have touched it, but I didn't get it right, is concerning managing your sheet while writing. You must not
Don't
write.
manage it. Don't manage it. Use it.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
You know, when we talk of a page contain front and back, you
Yeah.
can write number 1 in front. Okay.
Yes.
Can you write number 2 at the back of that
Of course, it's a
sheet?
new page. It's a new page.
So since at the back, you can write at the back.
It's a new page now. Yes, you can write it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Olukunle,
Okay.
please, I think it's advisable to write on a new sheet.
If it's advisable to write it, but I don't think it has any implication, to be honest. I don't think it has an implication.
Hello, sir.
But
I have had,
different individuals, different
I've
people
had,
mark different questions.
That's it.
no,
That's the reason I'm saying that.
I've had people say that they used to tear it. No, they don't tear anything. No.
That's even what I want to say.
I've had people say they tear it. No, no, no. So, although it's true that people mark different questions, right? But all those things are just things because all along my exam, I can't remember being so conscious that I would do a question on a different sheet. I can't remember being so conscious like that. All right.
Yeah.
So, Modupe, Gift, Soleya, Joy.
Yes. I'm here.
Gift, right?
No,
Who is
Sulia.
there? Soleya, go ahead.
Yeah.
Bukola is the last person. After Bukola, last person. Bukola is the last person now. I'm serious.
Okay. After I've asked before, but on my WhatsApp, but I didn't get response. So let me just ask you here again. I asked that if the entity in question have PML or PPL or both, and we are asked to calculate the liability payable by the company, which one are we computing? They said by the company. So you said
Do the two. Do both CIT and hydrocarbon tax.
then why are we doing this? Is it because they mentioned by the company?
Yes, because the company is liable to both hydrocarbon tax and CIT. It's a double tax regime.
Mm. So then in what case are we to compute just hydrocarbon alone and not CIT?
Yes, when the examiner tell you to compute only hydrocarbon alone, is when the examiner does not tell you to, he will tell you that do compute hydrocarbon tax liability. Full stop. In that case, he has exonerated you from company income tax. But if it didn't say that, if you just say tax liability, of course they're liable to two taxes.
Yeah.
CIT and hydrocarbon tax. So you compute it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, Modupe Gifts, Joy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
Modupe, okay, go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask which computation is on actual year basis?
So hydrocarbon tax actual year, CIT preceding year.
What of capital gain tax?
Actual year.
Okay, so actual year is capital gain tax and PIA.
And hydrocarbon tax, yes.
Okay, and sorry, did you normally ask taxation of resident and non-resident companies, like computation?
It's not anything serious. It's still the normal stuff. So if they ask you, I believe you can answer it.
The calculation, the
The
computation.
calculation is the normal. The computation is the normal computation. Actually, the tax computation is the normal computation.
Okay, it's the normal CIT.
Yes, it's normal CIT. It's just that your non-resident companies are exempted from TET. That's just it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. But it's still the normal CIT computation. All right. So.
Sorry, another one.
Okay.
So, normally when you calculate for um for the capital allowance, the basis
Yes.
period for 20, when you have 2018, 2019, 2020, that's for the new year rule that you do, that you not have basis period for 2019 or 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, what if you have like the commencement date? What if the commencement date is 2016? And then you are meant to do 2016, 2017, 2018. How do you get the basis period? Will you still use the same way you do for the new rule for the second year and the third year?
No, 2016 is under old rule, so old provisions will apply.
So, old,
I ran away from you. You can put
please,
me.
what's the old rule?
Okay, you know what? I will send you a link on my commencement video. You can watch it. But just because I know if I rush through it now, you won't get it. But let me just, because it's a complex stuff. I have to say, but for the old rule, is from the date of commencement to 31st December of that same year. For the second year, is from the date of commencement to 12 months period. For the third year, you have
What?
to be
12 months period.
yeah. For the third year, it has to be on preceding year basis. It has to end in the accounting year end. If it does not meet those two rules, then you repeat year 2 in year 3. That's how to go about it, basically.
Preceding for the last year, that's okay for 2018. Will you start after that after the second year? Will you start after that 12-month period? The day after that?
No. That's why I said it's a little bit complex. So I may still need to, if you don't know, I may still need to get in touch with you to be able to explain it further. But to be honest, it's a complex stuff. Not too complex like that, but there's a way around it.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So Joshua, Gift, Joy, Tunde, Bukola.
Joy.
Okay, Joy.
Hello. Mr. Michael, please
Yeah.
a quick one. Under exam conditions, to be able to meet up with speed, under capital allowance, you are computing it in respect of annual allowance and all that. Must you show your workings?
Not necessary. Not necessary.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But you must get the right thing. But it's not
Oh,
compulsory to show the workings.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Gift, Tunde.
Mine is not a question, though. I just want to beg you. Can you please just open your WhatsApp in case we have questions? You know, you're also writing the exam with us until after
Yes,
the exam.
yes, my WhatsApp is open. I would advise you just call me.
Sometimes,
If I refuse to pick your call,
okay.
just call me. To be honest, just place me on WhatsApp call.
Call or
So,
message.
So yeah, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, although is a dangerous thing to say in this class, so that you don't call me anytime. But then, if I'm not able to respond to you, you just call me. I will respond. I promise.
Okay. After the exam, we'll allow you be. Thank you.
It's
Okay.
a promise, though. You need to fulfill
Yeah,
your promise, though.
yes, I will fulfill my promise. At least I've tried to always fulfill my promise.
Okay.
But you really tried. You really tried.
You've tried. You've
You
tried.
really tried. You tried.
Thank you. Sunday Bukola.
Okay, thank you, sir. It is related to the other question someone has concerning hydrocarbon. So if we are given the aggregate of the revenue and we are given the what's it called, the additional information we are giving each revenue. After computing it out, it's less than the one given in the statement of account. Are you saying that we should pick that one in the statement of account?
I say you should pick your own. Your own is more correct than the.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
In all situation, disregard anything that man compute. He's a woman. Do you get? Disregard it.
Okay,
And
sir.
do
Thank
your own
you.
by yourself. Do you get?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Woman from stepmother.
Today.
Michael, is it sorry, it's something I actually trying to ask you. Is it based on what you compute or the higher of on either side?
No, it's not the eye of either side. You're not comparing your gross revenue with what is in the question. No. So this is how it works. The man gave a gross revenue in the question, right? You know, he's expected to give you a breakdown of how he got it.
That
That's just
breakdown is
giving
what I'm
you.
talking about now. Please, sorry. That's what I've caught you there. That breakdown is what I'm talking about now. The breakdown can come in 4 or 3 different proceeds.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying that from that step by step, if you are talking about giving 4, number 1, if you only compute and the one in that body, the higher one is what we're going to settle for from the knowledge I've gotten before.
What do you say? I didn't get you.
I said that the one you compute and the one you have in the body of the question, if your own is lower and what you've computed is higher, you settle for the higher one. Among the series of proceeds you are going to compute, if for example now you computed you get 70 million and the one in the body is 75 for the first line of the proceed, you settle for the 75. Next one you compute, if your own is higher, the one in the body is lower, you settle for your own that's higher. I don't know everything. Let me have it because
Mr. Tunde, don't
yes, sir.
forget your basis for computation is select the higher.
Yes.
So the higher of the fiscal value and actual value.
Yes.
So if you do it correctly, you are going to have a higher figure automatically.
What if I get the lower figure compared to what I have already?
To be honest, I have not seen instance where I got lower figure, but
me, I've seen it too. I said I've been on this journey for a while. I've seen it so that yes, now it's the only thing that is holding me back now. This only.
I think it's the aggregate and not the individual line of income. I think it's the aggregate to be talking about, not the individual. So I believe when you take
I'm talking about individual now. Before the aggregate,
aggregate you should take, yours will be bigger when you take the aggregate, not the individual income.
Exactly, yours should be bigger.
Okay.
So let me show you. Let me. I think I'm trying to walk through a question to see if I can get what I'm looking for. So in all instances, right? From what I know, if you do it correct, that's why I said if you are getting something lower, I will advise you before you assume that yours is correct, check again. Because ideally, right, you should always have a higher because you are using the higher of the actual value and the fiscal value of what it saves. Do you understand? So if you have done it correctly, I still don't want to believe that you will have a lower figure. Are you getting what I'm saying?
So like he said, that is, his same question I asked. There is a possibility of, based on individual, not the overall revenue.
Not aggregate. At the point of individual, you take it, you compare a higher first. Then
So,
you now submit and get the aggregate.
Wait, let's go ahead. Okay, check. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Is this coming up?
Yes,
Something like that.
So
What is it, Michael? Now, God
so
will
now
bring me
for
out from
this
you.
for this value of crude oil, right? What you're expected to do normally is 72 times 6.2. What you're expected to do here is 30 times 3.7. What you're expected to do here is 35 times 2.8. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, I got it.
So do 72 times 6.2. What will you have? Then multiply it by the exchange rate. Multiply by the exchange rate.
Why is 9720,000?
It will be because this guy now, what he did was he did the actual value. So if we go to the second one, of course, your answer may be the same because the actual value is the same thing as the fiscal price. And then for this last one, you are doing 35 times 2.8 times 425. You should have something higher than this or almost same as this. That's why although I will try to check, or can you please send the question you are solving to me so we can be on the same page. Maybe that will work. So I will know what is happening. But either ways, you should always it's because the ideal thing to do is the higher of the fiscal value of what it says and the actual price. Is that clear?
It's okay, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I wish you all the best in your exam.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
Mr. Michael, you are just too much. Thank you very much. God bless you so much.
Thank you. God bless
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Yeah, just to
Bless
him. I
you.
don't know how
Thank
to.
you. God
For
bless you.
being there for
God bless you.
Thank you so